I can indeed my book. I shall walk you at a quarter of beggar and ting in Chelsea. It's one mother boom pure Ariam McQuay. Kakabu dem McQuay and Gora. A book quite white and shall go on my shot. Be quite a did Chirka, no my court. When I boom pure Ariam McQuay. I should go to God, a quarter by. Then go not really I when you did for then go to God, a quarter by. Then go not young them good and for will call him. I should go to God, a quarter by. Then go not bang score, Mangani and by Sherry. You'll go to God, a quarter by. You'll come out the word. Tinkuniwa, Ting Maja. You'll go to God, a quarter by. You'll a short of band long by my two to call you and talk jazz. So long, call you and talk jazz. I could have called you, I couldn't want it. I couldn't mind it. About deal about trying to be our. But I think what you've done, I can. And you've been a man, your chair. Other man jumped in one tail. Hello, Kulwa. Here I hear one year. We see Bandu. A man can have a coke, dear a coke. Koga. A man. Kalmari, you are going about that. Will long do the band to do the madingi. I'm do Magan, I could. Then he wouldn't not wrong me. Real yard bill, come and I tell me I shot a wallet. 1 yard bill got a coke, like shot, I talked to it all. Sunday and Maria, that toy be up to away. I'll let you get a bang, the Kadong, I went and got talk. Sunday and Maria can't man to Yana land, go take him and not in love, but jump on my. Tunyan did your mid dark with it. Will gang roll, will you get a Kiban Tunyan did your mid dark with it. I don't my tour, got and do joke to one. A Kiban Tunyan did your mid dark with it. A corn my joke, Tiara, corn my do. A Kiban Tunyan did your mid dark with it. Will Macarian will dull my lip. Kiban Tunyan did your mid dark with it. Taban Tunyan did not shadow it. Cation tar, William let your land you pan near rule. Let your good jam, but I'll give him knock. Where she in tart, will look at Yali. Now, good jam, Kinyali, what about Foreign Union? Good jam, Kinyali, what about Foreign Union? Good jam, do not to Dangai. Labo and intimate. One hand got Chandian Mariachi built with a bit of Birchua and Yali. Chandian Mariana, Peru, but go to Naja, Kutonia, what? I try to get them. I'm going to go a little while, watch it too. I'm trying to get a pure body up. I'm going to go a little while, watch it too. I shall do it. I shall pull it to while well got. They are you born when we've been hearing and good.
Then we quite die, we quite become away. We got your lord, we got your mouth, can Tim Chok, when Mamudun Yang Makwet. This is Tim Chok, this is Yang Makwet with Tim Chok. I came for the show today is announced. It's just I paused a couple minutes ago that I will come soon live this evening. But it was not kind of like an hour or 2 hours ago. So probably it could be new to the other people, and those who can see right now, please share. I have a topic that I'm talking about today. It will not be a long show, but depending on if anybody join in today or not. What I would say first is that this show, I was planning to do the show on Monday, but for some other commitments, I was unable to do that. Mostly, I was having an other interview that I set up on that particular day. So I decided to come in tonight. Yesterday, I should have could have done it too, but I have to go to my daughter senior night, and there are some graduation going on around here within the city. So I decided to come in tonight. I know it's work days, and people will not stay long. Some people are right now at work. Some maybe on the way if you're working day shift, so you on your way right now home. I will be the topic, as I put it in there, why the appointment of Dr. Benjamin Bol Mel as vice president uh, become a thorny issue to the so-called oppositions or activists. Put in mind that I put in opposition. It's not like one opposition, but it's all oppositions. And then not one activist, but activists, as I put it as a plural. I'm gonna try to see if I can play some songs, at least for now, to wait to see if anybody, a few people show up, and then I will start my topic. I would also put a link. I know this is not a direct Facebook. Sometimes it's easy to do things through the Facebook, but this is a stream yards, and if you want to join the show tonight, you would either have to go through your Facebook page or YouTube. Um, there's a lot of thing going on, but let me play the songs. And probably you might have seen already breaking news tonight that Chief Justice Chanraj Madut and his deputy have been released, and a new Chief Justice has been appointed. That's the news tonight uh, in Juba. So we have a new Chief Justice. Chief Justice Chanraj Madut has, I think, been a long-serving Chief Justice in South Sudan, and now we have a new Chief Justice. So it's being posted on the social media. You might have seen it a little while ago, but let me find the songs here, and so we can listen to some music while we are waiting. Let me see if I can find some here. I'm not good of you know with the song, but I'm gonna try this. Let me know if you can hear it well.
Zaman, zaman, mayo, zaman, Jafan Numeri, Zaman Numeri, Kalimata Salam, Zawura, Chapasaya, Kalimata Salam, Senate, Jafan Sababa, Injil wala Quran. Senatala tamanin, ekbele kalam, alina silo sila.
Okay. So I heard that you guys cannot hear the song well. Let me see. I can find different song. I'm playing it on my phone, and I know sometimes it's not receptive through the speaker. Let me try something else. If you guys cannot, let me see if I can find anything else in here. Let me see. Okay, yes, Abram Yell and I said the song is cutting off. I think this is has to do with the speaker for the show because I'm playing rightly on phone. Let me see if I can get something else.
And I'm a tank, I need you to know you, and I am a friend in the time I am being to the will and train. I'm a tank, I need you to know you, and I am a friend in the time I am being to the will and train. I will panic and panani you feel panani joy to you when you feel like fun. You find that you're not all accident Monday. The moon, my lord, for the young one that getting a pain. The man, the moon, my lord, for the young. I will be getting me. I will be getting me. I will be getting I will to come back in we never said we never had story. Story. That's why I will you you find that not all experience funding.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it here. Sorry, then ko ki music up in well. Um it's been 15 minutes since I started, and I don't want to wait that long. I was thinking about conducting this show, uh, mixing, language, English, Dinka, and maybe Arabic. I know all South Sudanese at least um, can hear each other through Arabic or English, but mostly I conduct my shows here uh, through Tongyang. Not that I don't want other community to understand or listen to what I'm saying, uh, but mostly uh, the topic of today, I would rather mix it up. As I put it down there, the topic of today is the appointment of Dr. Benjamin Bol Mel as a vice president, and again being appointed as the first deputy chairperson of the SPLM party, has sparked uh, debate, crying, wailing. There are so many videos that being done, and mostly they are coming from uh, already opposition to the SPLM or to the government, uh, in which to me it's not a surprise if somebody really oppose Bol Mel. I would assume that they're not opposing Bol Mel because Bol Mel being a person, but these people already opposing the government. They are opposing President Kir Mayadit with his government. But the strange thing about this opposition of Bol Mel replacing former Vice President James Wan Iga, it sparked a lot of debates. This is not only from particular groups. This is not only from particular individual. I know there was a videos that being conducted, and mostly I think the what grabbed attention was a young lady in Canada that made a video opposing Benjamin Bol Mel. I think that sparked debate because it moved from opposition to the government and opposition to Bol Mel to seem to be involving the community, especially the will community, and probably those who are trying to respond to her also seem to be touching our community, and that is Tweet community. And I'm talking about Lena Prek. I'm not here to respond to her video directly. Um, as I put up there, this is she's not the only person that opposing Bol Mel. There are people also in Clubhouse that been opposing Bol Mel, and they came from different community, but they are the same groups. What I mean by the same group, they are all opposition to the government of South Sudan. Most of them have uh, a political party with armed wings, meaning they are fighting against the government of Juba, led by President Kir Mayadit, in which Bol Mel now become a vice president. So this is already a well-known situation, but their arguments or their opposing to Benjamin Bol Mel to me is not different um, the way they were opposing the government in general. But there is something unique about Bol Mel. I think the opposition of Bol Mel has become something a little bit personal to the extent, and also there is kind of like when you look reading between the lines, and I know some people are really kind of like smart. And by the way, I should say that I'm not paid yet, okay, because I think there was a pre-label that was being put in there that if you are responding or you are disagreeing with what they're saying, then probably you are paid by Bol Mel media. If Bol Mel pay people, I'm yet to receive that money, and I will not kind of go and depend personality of Bol Mel because I'm not paid to do that. But I will uh, also having a media platform like this. I want to put my opinions and maybe also dispute some points, not only from particular person, but for all those who went out there and they were being crying as if the issue of South Sudan now came with Bol Mel. Thing had been thrown over there. Bol Mel is the thieves, is the well-known thieves, and that's why people are suffering. And then, to my knowledge, if my memory, helped me, I believe Bol Mel was appointed as vice president in February 10th, 2025. So we are now, today is May 28th. So if you counting from there, Bol Mel is not even 6 months yet being appointed. But the problem that exists within South Sudan now are dumped on Benjamin Bol Mel. The country is collapsing because of Benjamin Bol Mel. Even the fight that took place in Nasser was a Bol Mel issue. And a lot of things being thrown around. But I'm not surprised again that the criticisms of opposition is always connected to the community because that's how the opposition is opposing the government. You will never hear somebody opposing the government or SPLM having alternative policy or a plan to get this country called South Sudan in a better place. You will never hear them saying the SPLM plan, the SPLM policy is not good. We have an alternative. Our policy is this. If we are coming to the power, if we allow us to come to the power, we will do this and this. The only thing that they're talking about is pointing things out, which is everybody can do that because nobody see him or herself. But you could literally see somebody out there and you can point issues out. So those opposition sometimes, to me, I think those are helpful with the government. It's not bad to have an opposition. Opposition is kind of like a mirror where you can see yourself. So the government can use that when they point out whatever the thing that is bad. The government should take that to me as an advice and do it. Because again, they're not offering any alternatives to the government to say the least that, oh, if we come to the power, we will do this and this. You go to Clubhouse, you go to social media, wherever they are. It's just the government being labeled is a bad government. And sometimes I kind of put a question in there. Is a bad government compared to who? Or to which government? Does anybody really have an alternative to this government? That the so-called corrupt government, all this? Because I don't see anyone offering any alternatives. What they're telling me or anybody else is that Kirmayar is not good, Bol Mel is not good, the SPLM is not good, with no alternative. There is no any other way of saying, okay, SPLM is bad, but our party is good because if we come to the power, we'll do this and this and this. So to me, I think I see two ways. There are some people that are practicing, okay? There are some people that are practicing to become politicians. They're not really politicians. And some also are really doing this just to gain followers. Because in the social media nowadays, people do crazy stuff just to gain the followers. You're not really giving any concrete information or something that will benefit South Sudan. You are just opposing for the sake of opposition, which is not bad. I'm not saying don't oppose. It's your right as a citizen of South Sudan to oppose or to point out things that you see or you think that they are wrong. As a citizen, that's your right. You are entitled. But I think I had to offer some advice. Not that I know all. I'm not a politician, or have I studied any opposition? I mean, political science? No. Here is a mistake made by opposition without. I don't know whether they do it intentionally or they don't. When you trying to take the problem from the government and attach to the community, you are now creating more opposition to yourself. You are now blocking people that would have joined you as an opposition because you already labeled them. You already labeled them and you put them in the same basket as the same government that you're opposing. Because if I come in here and disagree with you, or maybe asking you to tell me exactly what is that you disagree, what is that you think is right, then people will say, well, you're not supporting the government. No, explain to me, convince me. Maybe I will join you if you tell me something that credible and convincing enough so that I can join the opposition. Because I'm not joining in there simply because so are in opposition. And then I think that's what it is right now. Many people are joining in because that is an opportunity to get into the government. It's the easy way to be. So when you have the so-called the summon agreement made in South Sudan, just maybe you will end up being a member of parliament, or you become a commissioner or being appointed to whatever position of that agreement is allow you to go to take that position. So I think that motivate a lot of people to just join the opposition. It's not that they really have any concrete disagreement. And if they have this concrete disagreement, then you should provide a concrete opposite policy that would convince the rest of South Sudanese to join you and say, no, government of Salva Kiir with SPLM is not doing good. This sound a better plans. I would join this because these people or this group of a party is coming with a good plan. None of them. Now, Benjamin Bol Mel has been seen first. It become a thief. And I don't even know the list of 75 people that were read out by President Kiir. Number one, I don't know, was one of them was Bol Mel. And I don't even know if those 75 were in government or the business people. I don't know because the names were never being given out. And I believe somebody uncle name is in there. I remember when Dr. Yang Machar and James Waniga, when they came, I think it was 2003 or 2002, they came to US and I met them personally. I met Dr. Yak and former Vice President James Waniga personally. And one thing, James Waniga said one thing. We were talking about disagreement in community because they were coming in. I think that was the beginning when Dr. Riek Machar rejoined the SPLM party and they came to United States of America, including Dr. John Garang. So Riek Machar and Wani were coming together and they went to they came to New York, and this is where I met them. James Waniga said one thing. He said, you have one problem. When you are asked to contribute even $5 so that we can go and buy guns, so that we can liberate the country, you always saying, well, I don't want to give my money because they're going to eat my money. If I'm giving you $5, you're not going to buy the gun, you're going to eat the money. You're refusing because you don't want your money to be eaten by somebody else. But when you get out here, you will go to a store and buy something and you eat. You eat the same money that you refuse not to give. So he said, you're not refusing because your money, will be eaten by somebody. It's just that you don't want to share your money because at the end of the day, you will eat the same money that you don't want somebody else to eat. So why not giving to that person instead of you go and buy stuff in the store and eat them? So we are always seem to be pointing things out that we don't look into ourselves. I'm not here to defend Benjamin Bol Mel. I'm not a spokesperson of Benjamin Bol Mel or the government. Michael McQuinress is there to do so. But I think people should not mislead the public in social media. There are a couple of things that I need to point out here. One, like I said, the opposition lack any concrete plan. So when they oppose, the opposition is based on, and I said this one time in one of the so-called, he named himself president, I think it's president of Clubhouse, was so irritated when I said that these opposition were just, they're trying to get back. They were there. Tell me who is now in opposition that was not in the government? Who is now opposing the Juba government who was not there? These all opposition were there. But when they were kicked out, they turned around and looked around and said, well, the government is bad. So they're trying to find their way back to the table. And to do that, they have to cause havoc. They have to go around and claiming that somebody's calling me, sorry. They have to go around and claiming that so and so and with his tribes are the one eating. So you telling me that now you want to go back there because it's somebody else that is on a table now and is eating the same food that you used to eat. So all the opposition want to go back to the table. They want to go back to their position. If I'm wrong, look right now. All those 5 vice presidents were in opposition. Are they complaining right now? Except the position of James Wani, which is now Benjamin Bol Mel is in. But the rest, the 4 vice presidents, were created to accommodate those who are opposing the government because they want to get back to the table. What they want to do there? They want to go and eat. And now they kept quiet. They kept quiet. Does it make sense to have 5 vice presidents in the country? But they're so happy with it. Nobody really talking about that. Nobody see that as a problem. Nobody see that this is where people money are being wasted. Because you don't have this big giant government with 5 vice presidents, and I don't know, even over 400 something parliament. And they were allowed to be there in the name of peace. And some people are still running outside right now. They want to get into that. They're willing even to create another 6 vice president, whatever. I mean, I don't know how many groups are there. There's SPLM Real, there are Suna, there were whatever. Everybody else want that position. If Kimia right now agree that he want to create 10 vice president right now, South Sudan will be in peace. because that's what they're looking for. That is exactly what they're looking for. Let me put the link in here. I think somebody want to come in. I know sometimes people have difficulties of joining. Yeah, but I will put the link in the comments. If you want to join, please click the links and follow. You can come through YouTube or Facebook. So literally all those complaining, the so-called oppositions, they just want to oppose their way to back to the table. That's why they call opposition. There's no real opposition right now in the Republic of South Sudan, to be honest. None. These are opposition seekers. And I have proof. I have proof. Again, go and check those vice president, except the position of James Waniga, which is now being held by Benjamin Bol Mel. Those came through peace agreement because they were causing havoc, they were causing problems. And Kir Mayar has to agree to accommodate them. This is a fight over the cake. And the victims are the South Sudanese ordinary citizens. So the way they oppose now is to connect them, because when you are appointed as a minister, is you, and when they are dismissed, is we are being dismissed. We are not in this government. The example is, I know people will get upset because Bol Mel was linked to a will, and a will was insulted in somehow. I know there was issue about most of the bakers on the streets are from a will. Most of widows are from a will, which to me, I don't agree with that. I don't disagree with that point. Yes, there are so many widows in a will. But the question is, what makes them to be widow? The question is, why are so many widows in a will? That individual can ask that question. Are those women become widows by choice? Did they kill their husband? Did those women went in and killed their husband to become widows? Now, those who are now lingering and will say the baking on the street because they are called Matianganyor, did they do that by choice? That should be the question for somebody that's so-called activist, for opposition to come in with alternatives rather than using that. Another question is, if there are so many widows in a will and there are so many orphans, bakers, why would that be responsibility of Benjamin Bol Mel as a business person? Why would that be a responsibility of Vice President Benjamin Bol Mel? Or before that, because I know he's just being appointed in February. And I don't think the widows didn't start it in February. They were there. The so-called bakers on the street did not start after February. They were there. Why is it the responsibility of Benjamin Bol Mel to take care of the widows of a will? Even if Benjamin Bol Mel is a billionaire, why is it become his responsibility to be called out that he is not taking care of the widows? In my understanding, I think those widows, many widows in a will, Again, I agree with that. There are so many. But I believe what made them to be widows is South Sudan. Their husbands were in the army, whether they were in Matianganyor, they were in SPLA, they went in there to fight for the freedom, to fight for the country. And if that is the reason that caused them to be widows, is that not the responsibility of the government? Is that a responsibility of individual from a will that a business person? To me, it should be responsibility of the government. The same government that sent them to war should be responsible for those widows. And if that is the case, why the so-called now activists or opposition didn't come up with that? Why they didn't say, you know what, there are a lot of widows in a will. Government need to do something to these widows. Why nobody came up with that? All of a sudden, right now, Bol Mel become a vice president. All this situation now pop up, and people are asking, "Oh, you Bol Mel should have do this, or should have done this to your people." Why is it become Bol Mel issue? That's my question here. I'm gonna try to send to do. I think there are some people that want to come. Let me see. I put a link in there. If you can go through a public link, do that, please. Let me see. I can send some people that ask for a link through their messenger. If you're a friend to me, with me in a Facebook, I can send that. So I think there is some issues here. I think there are some issues here. Whether people really have some underlying issues against certain communities, or they don't have any way of opposing the government except labeling the government as a tribal government. In fact, they're doing this exact same thing. You see a group of people joining with cousin and uncles, the one, and then they form what they call opposition because they want to get in there. Why the so-called opposition cannot criticize the government without bringing community in or a tribe in? These are the same people that seem to be linking the failure of the government, the so-called failure of the government, with the community. And then they turn around and say, "Oh, this government is tribal." Is it not the same exact same thing that you're doing? By the way, those who are trying to connect Vice President Bol Mel to a Will community, first of all, if Bol Mel a thief, is still son of a Will community. He's a thief from a Will, and nobody can deny that. And the people are in there. So when it is time for every community to collect their thief, we will go and collect the Bol Mel. A Will community will go there, will be asked to collect the thief. But what I'm sure is that nobody, it will be the exact same thing that this guy from Nazareth called Jesus Christ. When a woman was caught and brought to him, and they said this woman, was caught in adultery, he was asking people to say, well, if anybody doesn't have a sin, throw the stone. So if we say right now, if anybody who is not a thief, then nobody will remain in South Sudan. Really, nobody. A Will community, we don't kind of like saying, oh, this person is a member of Will community simply because he's giving out something. Again, whether they are thieves, whether they contribute anything or not, they're still a Will community. They are members of a Will community. Because you don't buy your membership in a Will, you don't pay so that you become a community member. If you make your money, it's your decision whether you want to donate or not. And nobody should disown you because you make your own money. And if you decide not to give anybody anything, then people should disown you because you're not giving. A Will community, like any other community, everybody may try to, to make a living through his or her own way. Yes, if somebody giving you something, that's fine. Say thank you. If not, you should not disown them and say, well, I'm not related to this person anymore because it's not giving me anything. Dr. Dengdi, I'm going to bring you up. Yellwood, I think I sent you, check your messenger. So this is the reason that I'm coming in here. I'm not responding again on a specific individual because I know many people have seen Linda, Lena Frick, but it's not. I check your messenger, Yelwood. It's not only Lena Frick, for your information. So don't get into Lena Frick next, as she's the only one that saying this. It's all opposition that are opposing Bol Mel, which is a legitimate, right for any South Sudanese to oppose him. What is not your right is connecting community to individuals. A Will community was never consulted by President Kirmayadit so that they can give Bol Mel to Kirmayadit. Now, if that happened, yes, you could come in and say, a Will community is that the best of you? You could ask a Will community like that. Is Bol Mel is the best of you? You don't have any other person? There are so many. Why giving Bol Mel to Kirmayadit? But it didn't happen that way. This is Kirmayadit with the SPLM deciding to pick one of their members. So there is no reason to ask a Will community that is this the best of, there are so many other Will sons that are qualified or that are, having this and this. If a Will community was asked, then a Will community can sit down and see who is capable and who is not. And by the way, Bol Mel should be given at least opportunity before opposing. But is this the first time? No. Remember, in December, 2013, what was the issue? The disagreement was within the SPLM party. And it was through voting system. Well, this group saying we need to raise a hand to vote, and the other group saying no, we need to do a secret vote. And then they came out and there was a press conference. That press conference led to the war of 2013. And what was the argument? The argument turned out to be, it was not even about SPLM, it turned out to be, oh, President Kirmayadis has a tendency. President Kirmayadis has a tendency to become a dictator. He was not a dictator yet, but he wanted to become a dictator. I think those who live in Western world can realize that. If you remember, a young boy was killed in Florida by another guy. Because that young boy was wearing a hoodie. And one of the guy, what they call neighborhood vigilante, whatever, was suspicious about that hoodie guy and said, well, I see this guy is up to no good. I think he's going to steal. The guy didn't steal anything yet, but he got killed because it was suspected he was going to do a crime. it was the exact same thing that Kir Mayadit was going to be a dictator. He was not a dictator yet, but we start fighting him because his tendency right now, he wanted to become a dictator. If you think I'm making it up, go and check the videos. Go and check the statement made by Riek Machar and all those groups. Now, Bol Mel was appointed in February 10, and now Bol Mel is going to throw this country into the ocean. That's how we see it. Yelwood, I don't see your camera. I know the device is not connecting. Try to refresh that. I know you might have a network issue, but I can bring you up. If, you can, if your voice can be aired, I will bring you up. So that war was caused by a tendency. There are people that's, read the mindset of you. They can read your mind. They can read the future, saying, okay, the way I see you here, you are going to be a bad person tomorrow. Therefore, I have to get rid of you today. That was the war of 2013. Because Kir Mayar has a tendency to become, it's not a dictator yet, to become a dictator. Now, Bol Mel, according to them, being a thief already, is going to have a tendency of embezzling all the money of South Sudan. And I think they said that this is all, Kir Mayar is also a thief. Okay, if Kir Mayar is a big thief, why focusing so more that little guy that being sent to go and steal the money? Why are you leaving the elephants and try to fight the share of the elephant? With that, I'm going to bring this group of people up. So this is my point here. This is my kind of like questioning. Do we really have a position? Are we really seeking attention on social media to gain more followers? Or are we really making sense? Are we convincing South Sudanese that the government in Juba is bad and we have an alternative government? Are any opposition groups providing an alternative? And who is among the opposition right now who was not in government? Yeah, they remember all good days when they were in Juba, playing in a swimming pool, having Yamashoma, and now they're being kicked out. They're running around. That's what forcing them. They try and get back. That's all. I'm going to bring up Dr. Ding Ding. Yelwood, welcome. I think probably it's late in Juba right now. I believe you are in Juba. So that is the topic. Why appointment of Benjamin Bol Mel become a thorny issue to the so-called opposition or activists on social media? And the question also, why is it that connecting or opposing the entire groups or a tribe rather than opposing the government or the individuals? Why they can't oppose individual or the government rather than they go in there and say, oh, this is your community, this and this and this. So Dr. Deng, I'll give you the floor first. I know you came in and you've been sitting here down, and then next will be Yelwood. I'm sharing the link here on the comments, but I will also, I think the Ding Alwed is asking for that. Take a floor, Dr. Ding Ding.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Joseph, for welcoming me to the show. And thank you, Brother Yelwood, very long time. And Bijam to Moja. Kachil Welke, Akabi Monja Kaping. Ramlog Jam English, but they were Jam English. And Taban, Iran Choliak, Tinuja teach, a water. Tung Twingy Bakang Louis, I will be owl, and a key bendy on the social media. I will be writing, but I'm Bol Mel. Balagina Tietie, Quindi Nichi, Quine, Pay and Race, Sudan. Kujala command Kijibana first, Nab, but a chairperson, chairmanship to Aspialam as Aspialam. kene balwe congratulations to him ko inshallah bin yalla doy bulu ne chegen bulu ka pol gup ku won to ben taban so lu je tiji ran chol yak ko to ten wu ter be zado monje te re lindi ki kwanye ban yaran pat la ki lo yum le kwan kene cho ga man mo dum da ka go igwa lum jadi ran de chi man da bi da kwa man tin den da ban ko ni chi kwan kene pat kene jadi emikra di be yet pai fa kene taw tin ke gra tin ke tung twing de ke gro bol mil kan lang business de ne ko lo ter ku kala contract ke ye again la ga patti ko lo tin chin ka patti ko lo tin kai ran de chi gwa dom tin den ke ra raj ku me ne tin agar bi ra un ma ne be la tin ku jam ne ke chi ga ye ge dia le chu ya ke long bol mil a chi ben ke ran ku ko ji ben ke ran ku ko ji ka tin ku jala ko ngi ke na cha kir mi hari din jal ga dang kalan ko batin a ji la li ni ke ne mi ke di pe ke na ku jala ke ngwan ke pat bi ye wul ton e ko ju je ka man ke pat bi kang ji ko ya wul e ke man này ke mi ko ya wul ba tong bas dai ti ka bin ku mer ke ben ko ga bi ko jam bi lo lu ba sho ya ka men bu la ka yen ke de bi ene na chu ben sho ni na cho ya ke na ba chu kan ko ka ro an cho la tan wa ga ta alang jam bi chen jam wa ko ke ni bi en ka net wa wi rot ba ba rot ba ro wa tan wa ga ta ti jam la an cho bol mil aki mi da wul aki ko ni ba le ke le lo ku yen on kwan banyin bi en mu ko maktab salba ki mi hadi de ki ko ya wul ko ni lo ki bi ki mi hadi lo ya ba lo de ki mi hadi ko lo wen ki e mun na e ran de jal kwan ke bum mi da wul ka ko ni bi le ke lo ka kai ti ku kra je pe e la tin pe bi jam ra pe bu ku jam ko na e de shi ko won ko ku bol ko ka man bol ko cái nai wa tin dam tuk tin wa ku jala bot ko chok ko che gen ma fur bu lo ki ka na ati we ra ki le ke cs kena bol ku ki kwan wona de mataga ta nyuwa ku ki ro yok bi jam ti ke ro ye na pagwe ke da chi bol ba ba no twin ku ye wi ba ba ye ku ping a chen pagwe ki ke na ku ni ran tin tie lo ran de na ya de ben ki kaman ke kwa nyo di na ra ni ra ka di dan me chi re de kwa nyo de jam wa ke ni te ban ko ben a ku ti ko ke ben social media a yu ko le la ran ke we ko ya wu ni na ngu lo tan ke ka di a ko ja ju ka di ka chi de ka kene ekene longa tenye kene chicken bo fu pa du pya bloy long di balwe balo ten ko jawul ke mi dawul ku ni rawul ku dia rawul a chol bol mil taban e manda lakin kana che tawta a chicken awul ekene jinu sudan ben ni ke lo ke kra ke pap kaman sudan ben ga bu bol mil le blat le blo kada le blo kada le blo kada ra ber ke kene ra an maktab de e ki lwe ki chak bo ke kra bi ra maktab ben wule ke chire de kene ki lwe kati en ya nya tan mi da wul na cho ran ben blank lek bol mil ke legen ko che ke la wul ke community do ka ber ati era angela jal be ke di chol bol mil jala pol ku yo la bia ke bia wul yo la be ati ye rang na yo ki chwe ki chwar wi da ko yo ki bari lwe ka ba ba chwe chwe de ru yen ku cha wul be yin du ki che ma bol mil lwe bol mil kuin mana wul le ki lek bol mil ya ke kra ya kale ge ke ban jinu sudan ke be nebre jinu sudan kile ge wa mana wul ati kene da man ko yoga lo ya ga chir ge belia waka akoy mi bi ga da che kene ki lek mi da wul na le ki ya lek bol mil num ke ne ka cha ke le ge ne ati o ko ya wul da ba na o ga lang good example kene ban nei ka ban da de la buket ko me lo ra wa de che ke dar bi dir a che pur ya jadi fadan bol mil cho cái la da blo cái da ka chu pur ya ru ye ne res na che ne res cái la be la fa cái này cái bật thiếu cái này có cái bật đọc rất bị đau nó có cả thiên số chúng để nào nó cái tin nhật lắc bồn với cả cây nhau của đi quý bị bé là chế gì cái này bôi bà đây là bà đây cũng như là cho hỏi cho chị cái gì chào các bồn mới mất tập đưa lần nào bây giờ jam bất cả bé các bạn bao nhiêu lần cái điều này là lừa cái lừa ke maktab ban min dari la ande jam ko ci kwa ngi ben lu ke ci de kati ken ke bi belag mi dawul ku biga bi chuge lore ke cirkena ama ko yon ben biga wulat ku bi ke yeti ya gabu ka pal dia bi ti ka ber na bi ke mo gabu pal wo gabu ka ber ken e gri yo ban le ke belag ke na le ban ke ro ja ti le ko lo jinu sen e opposition wala ci opposition e ke chola hatred into prejudice sudan ti ke chola opposition bi jinu sudan asal iri jala jinu da man de ko kwa inde ko ani ti re shuk te ko kwa nge ka ni re ti bra ti kwa wala ko chola ku je no ke le nge kin le ci re chwa ro ke le ki kwa ni yo no ko ku e ku ni ci kwa ba ka ti so ke e he ke chola hatred completely in loro prejudice jinu sudan ko mu bi chola hatred e cham arango the best job in jinu sudan e bala hukumai jadi na kala hukumai ebga heno ko tirandu ya ke randu bi man chame chuk ka ku ka chaman le randu nya ko ran chame chuk ka ku ka chaman ko kulwa ke le kimya di roye ko la kwa yengina yini mi po na be nya ma thyo ki bana ma chaka e kidi chol hatred pat ento jinu sudan ana be ko ita aka tin bien ba ban le wi chale
Yeah, thank you, Deng Ding. Ai cái chân lùi lên là đây, taban pinom cái nó, amit ga cái cái, taban da yogin da nengin power kira mit nim, then cái ini be accuse it, aduna min mit, so kena agak den taban ali digap, lan bi to be mi di, di kaca ban mo nyau jam be nyut ma ka dil dia ile be ya pana det, ya manda chen lai marzat, aben man tingnya kale ka duksi, fadal banyal got.
We got more by Yak Mokwaj. Kujala Dr. Ding is Dr. Ding. Kujala Koidai show it. We got more by Conjupomiat. First of all, we will learn to Pomiat Kuborom Kuwait. Kuyan and Japan in Sudan. And Japan you must have it. Kujal Jun University and Jalumbo. So on Japan Queen in the Buchan Bawali. Nana Anka you become the qua. Kupalpi Gane. Yen Kujalaba a topic in Jamiar. Naja topic nyar ben we share together kami ko kujala ka juja pe ko kang mai ma ci dik to den a ci loyel to den shukran ko kun jalwel ke ga jam nyar shukran ya koy en on ben to bang point tang nyot dom to ngai ko bi bo kan jam di jok ale e ba gam ko rambe yegale twing e ban ki ma yadit ban ki ma yadit ben kilo gi Sudan ko ni kilo yu le ti ba pe ka ngwana kilo gi Sudan so lo jalo junub aja yok ban ki ma yadit mu ba dal pat ku yen fok ci dobben e baay ko bi nang dor e baay bi nang ciang pat e ram bu chok pin de to na liw bi ko dan kilo ko pe kan wana kilo gin Sudan ko kuma de jeng ne ja akuma ati masuliya de koloni akuma loy ati nyaay fulli kiya kagro kina jambo ya kol tek dan ko be ki podak ko ko ju ya ki podak kun ci wa maga ban Bol Mel ci kwany bi ya ne rais ya ne rais twice ere ne ban along as pelem akuma yi ku bi ne ban bi as pelem political party yen ta ci ban da chen madinga wuliye buran madinga wulu bay kay nay kursi SPLM ko mi awul ko wale ban lan kursi ci yek ban Bol Mel ko di ci Sudan jegda kuna jira anda da ci kwa ku bura anda bi fursa ku biya nayi ka bai da kale ko o mi awul ban tun ko to juba jala ko to ba ko her ku jala we fi diaspora e ya yo ga but ci loy ci man awul ci ko biya nayi kene na jaba ne ya kamar dudun po ya mi dudun po kamar biya to yene ale yo ban ko yo le ban le wa ka ke yinu mudin awul e ciro fem ko baranda ba kwan biya nayi ku ne kini ye sha bi lo ti ban de kamar din awul ka ke yi di ko ni ka fa ta nyodo in jo ban fem baranda bana ne ko kuma jinub kana jinub da na fanda to pan jinubin bin gudun ko jawul kuna jin ne ban lo madin awul ka wo mi madin awul ko ko madin awul ko ga mut po ko pa ya ku bu ko jin Sudan ko ce ko jawul da kin ne ban lo madin awul aka pa ya bi ku da miet na da fursa ne kana spele ma ban madin awul kire ya e pya ku bu kai kwa ke je ko jawul we ga ga jiran kwa ko shi ga jiran kwa bi pu da miet ko la ran ji kwan kene a ji kwan bu kana awul lo ko bu kana jin Sudan bu lo mun ko ta ga kwan ka ji kire ya aya mi ku bi ya fursa tan ko rel ko ke ko pa ka awul fer and also ko pa ka awul fer bi bo kan ban point di madin awul tu ga mi ya bi amado e kin ga tin ci tem na ki madin fe badang tin yi madin le pe ko mado pe na pung ga tin ci gi ki pal ma ku fal ko madin awul man de ga ci bulu ko madin awul ma e ko tin ki din lu for tek ku du lu for tek ku bangi bel fel real dani warel ko pek masala ko di kena wo da ka monje ka war ko punga tong dani ka yoku belo te ku ru bunya re pa na ga tin tak pin madin awul ko fe ko ka gi mun ta na le ni ta ta re le ga yin ya ina bu fe ku ina bu lu support ni bozulan jinda le tin da panda wo ginu bin ku ne dana ku rayi dana ku wazir kwan ka ku da wayar jin le tin so na jin le tin ka jin ni bu ga ina ga mu danga ne yong na punga chun ti dom kai di ko lo long tu ko fer ko lo use kam kwa abdi ele kam kwa duru kri na chwa ran pe bu ga pai community ya ga yo ke wa mutun long go jiti ele ko lo kri de bu kan li bu tin kam kwa aya mi yar ba dim den jinu bi bi gel den fer ga gul ko le bi mo tun ko wul ci lo ko men ne bu ko fer wa pa tek di ban ban ya ga tek di ban lo ko pel ya de yin kan ban lo yitin ina ban ril ga yin din a je ko men ga rot mati ji na la den jinu bi buru fe ko kay ko gawul ku dugo ni na ge na kilo na wul ki ku jam ka wul ana wul ku de ele ko dal dal yo ko man be ni nin ko gidan ina wi biya ke to ko ni na tin na na ku go ka fa tin lakin wi kana ke ko ke je ja na men wul ci wul da wul da na ya ko ka ke yu ko do ke ya wi be jam pa jam ra je wi pa ko ya wul ga ka kwa da kwa ping kuna jam ya ka jam du ya ade ga analysis victim an jam ya kana wulen guiri kana wulen rek na yene randa ci randa ay ko ya wulen ngi ya so lo nga la tan juru bin ke mo je bet ku jala war pan ko tore ya ku buril bak bu jorel kam kwa e bi mutu ma fana duk ko na la bayi na ni niaga wala ne ba duk ni ga medinga wul kan ko ban ko yin ti mo tere ko ko lan medinga wul ce mo arda e ki ran kwan bi ya ban wala ce ban ce loy so ba ka ni mar ga pe ma ding loy kana mutu tan juru bin a ce ma point lo ce ki akula kwan ban bula na ba kan ka luru bin na ba medinga wul ko kai ko kwen ci ban bul ci kwan tan bisa wala kina manin ubuti man akan karo tok ban Bol Mel man jini Sudan kuna ji ban jiti ji ban yatin ban kirma yar kulele Bol Mel ko an biya na dia wala kam fo wul kujin akam fo dal Bol Mel man jini Sudan kenen ko jiro bay rati oklar kiya kebro kiya mi po pa anjal Bol Mel ko besin kuna ji ko an karar kam ko ji ento ba chembi ji jerin ga ji kuna ji ko an kai kwa ko de klik kenen a ji pon jol ji bo ji po mi kayen di jan jol ban kim ya ku ku brin ti ku ta su na go mi ko su ko mi o kana ji ban Bol Mel ci jo am bin ci ba po bai di na na ka to ji di por wel tan ka won ci kan contract a contract lo bin gala contract by 10 to western country the yin contract yin ka baji bin yegi baji contract le ko le loy lakin contract jin Sudan contract yegi ku yi we kai ku je we ko ga ban lo wi chen ku ja ban madin na jin we jilu yo buga yegi ka kwa ji yegi balo ka ti do pe na rize na jira yi char par kagal wala char labor wala char malakal ko ji job ko ji ko aga je we ga ji cham a we ga cham ka ya do ti we ko a ta ben ko ja ben tap to e ju ping pa la ji contract nya wa ka na contract wa nya ji we ti ya ta a we ka liu we a ti ko ja ti to kiri ya an ko na ji ko ji kwan wala du tu de nga ji kwan wala ban yang ko ji kwan la ban Bol Mel ji kwan ka na cha na wala ba ka dal ti ke to ke to a we ka liu we wa ka ti na bi ko ja top to we kai ko na ngan ji yu ka ji do aka pa ba la ji Sudan ko pa ti ni ke lo kan te ke ti man kui na ke ti ga me ti putin ji kuma ye gen da ti de ki mal ka ku no bin ku yin de ni we na ko wa kai la batin wala yin ti ang yi jo kai kwa a ji pa kwa ji ko di a ji pa ko di ga do use la ji ja ji ni pa ku ji le ka ce ka ba lo po ni po ka ro ko pi an cho ka ro ko wa ja me ji le la wi ku
Banyal budin you are cutting off. I don't know. Gedang di sound in Mikela wala gedang do network do jangi.
network de check quiz de check quiz
Yeah, network. Yeah, aru time gede uru la rabi gede. Sing network getting bad.
ku ya dun ku ji
I think anti update again are distorting gedang. Come back, Banyal Wood. Deng Alwed, I think I sent you a link through your messenger if you want to come. Again, you can come through. I put a link in the comments in there. Click that and follow up. Cái gì mà luyện kin đặc biệt đeng đeng cái vấn cái cái luyện của jala cái yala guat luyện. Yes, Bol Mel the khi quan bia national figure tabana kina le bunyi zinden kubati to bagel ko on jalo yala na wok fela ni awul and some other community especially awul a very liberal community banya yeket and never arrest anybody wala kiamana karam wala ye haja I think I don't think madinga awul blatin gulela ko kon Bol Mel I think South Sudanese community should have learned jal ki dana tur yung kien jal akin min madinga awul jolo kwan zungule rana madinga awul jike we laka bobu
mulong awan kaman
same thing with malonga ikidang shike min madinga ikidang man madinga awul ke ikidang madinga awul achi personal issues in Iran board yes achi diu man madinga awul kana kachi lu Iran pol kulo ya kacha ko nyala bakoy lakin kena actual political kunai political ka kachi ko rodo kut within madinga awul you could find in the same family ka koy nang different party, and that's what it's supposed to be. It control democracy in the kan kana achilo ngarel ku ba tiang de level party ko na party de na lok ben bai ka bai panda abu kieng based on our principle re lok bai kwa ji ka pa politics kieng bai. So kana e mo burut biya ko ya learning from that. You know, mading awul I don't think le bunyutin ku Bol Mel ku depend. Yes, man mading awul de rabin ya ten fan o mading awul Bol Mel ko wuj ko is like any other person helping depending kin mayari. Actually wrong to do that. Anang right below kya party of Yang Machar which is IO anang min mading awul.
What else, Ben?
Nengi ye gam tin
Ali
no
Rod
ran
Yakapin.
ken au party ken represent something. Ah ko ezre. I think. So in mapol ba ko ilo mun tin ben network ya wuj ko ilo ya. Akoy la nen ko yo video ya ka tagola you know I don't know. So in mapol ba dun ba tab yal got. Kin ben.
Gidi ya baba gulo cheki chama furu bagambi na kwa. Tachi ko ping fin ku ti ping changi so ba jal ba to. Ye la kan. Ben Bol Mel kunji kwanji banyo kwan kada mun pu ba la tu. Kada mun pu ro. Tok ban kir ma yana ngir ba. Kuna gwir ba kuna ngane yok na kwen ka wi jen banya bloi. Ka kwen ke banji mo Sudan. Ila de bi ko wi ne. Ko je ga ju nu bin ti ale banya la yin du mek bi banya ni wi na ka ne de. Ko je bi ke mo na wul bi ke mo ji mo Sudan. Kuna bi ke mo ji mo Sudan ka wul ke part of University Sudan. Ani nga perfume madien ka kwen. Na jira yok fi bi bor ka kwen. Yen ku ti banya Bol Mel ti ban kunen ko ka mag ma dinga wul kwa wa friendship ye ku claim wa friend awul ki dugu ni do wul na dayin bayan ya kin position ko ya wul ka ko kwa da ni di ko ke ida ke ga chana na position ko yoka kana ka man wala re ki na ka yoka ka fege e musi lo tani mi da wul ku jala ko me to ke makwa on jor gin mo tan ke monje kene aki ba kwai badinga wul ni ari badinga wul tegin kuna yok leadership mun tere mu badinga wul je fara mu leadership ira ga bo ko lo support na ji man mading bar kwanye ne ko le mu yok bu jino Sudan ka mading kaman mading ko madinga wul mu ma sa lakin mading
There you go again. I think you might have some issue again. Yalgwet. Get it try to find where good internet is. Kul ma bin ben jam chok yoga le get asin yulu frozen get it. It in open. Ben ta dem good I think ben ku jale ben that. Yeah, in yulu frozen yalgwet.
Ye reta juba.
No, you look at Ben. I thought it was in you, but can you look at Ben? I thought then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ti ban chira las ko, you know.
No, that one. Talk then. Somehow I like network. They by Mikela. Yeah, kayen ke pamatin din binding di I think people have a right to oppose Bol Mel or any other public figures when they big lana taban dikin la kang public you consider in irresponsible kind of public and then everybody else have a right and I was not coming in masalan but then on behalf of whole community to defend a whole community or defend Bol Mel and about care and media generally to point out a position ka ke jamjan ka I think because then with the legitimate opposition when nang alternative and when it really and let the pelan by ya ben mantin ka kana balo lakin what I'm hearing all the time nga ka dikon la koy loy nga ka dikon la koy loy ku ni chelo la na kana ka koy loy kuna pelan ka lokal so I jal bot yo kada koy jalo la na mena kirma yari kan la loy mu wade yek support agira yek support en liu kita den pat ben gina liu you're not providing anything kita bay gulo le war ke din pot ye kin la ben yek support en gong liu so ke ga ja ti yo la kirma yara cha weekend loy ku ya ngoro kirma yara support akuma ya yek support so should we just disagree with akuma ko alternative so in the decide in akuma we bay oppose ki bar ke alternative balula jama akuma kena right ki service achi ka bi we and anang plan party da anang plan na book kana book lo so back ba you support bo kuma bu ku buwar gan power in telo ye
Well, I want to make a point, then I will leave. First of all, I will say this one in English. I've been doing research about South Sudan, particularly leadership, government structure, political wheels, and you name it. South Sudan has 54 political parties with armies. Imagine that. 54 political parties with armies. So each party has a chief, what they call CNC, okay, commander-in-chief, each party. And that party, you find that is only one person maybe registered himself, mostly men, registered himself with maybe a few people of his tribe and become a party, and he's a commander-in-chief. Okay? Now, among those 54, one tribe has 33 political parties with CNC. I'm not going to say the names. Only one tribe. Can you imagine that? Okay. Now, one time I asked one of my friends, who is also CNC, and they're right here in America. And I asked him, now, what is your political objectives? How are you different from the SPLM, SPLM-IO, and SPLM IG, whatever SPLM is?
Yep.
And I said, before then, you were a supporter of Salva Kiir Mayardit. What happened? You know what he said? He said Salva Kiir Mayardit appointed his tribe mates, okay, and replaced me with his tribe mate. Okay. Then I said, oh, well, if that is the reason, then when Salva Kiir Mayardit appointed you, did he appoint you as what? What kind of mate at that time? And now when he released you, he looked at the figure coming from the side of tribe. But when he was appointed as a deputy, what they call it, minister. You know, he was a deputy minister. But because he was released, he turned against Salva Kiir Mayardit, and Salva Kiir Mayardit is a tribal president. Okay, so that's why I said before that what's going on in South Sudan is not a political interest. Okay, it's not a political interest. It is just hatred. Because if you remove me from that position, Salva Kiir Mayardit become my enemy. If you appointed me, Salva Kiir Mayardit is the best president in the world. So we don't have actually political visions in South Sudan. What we have job visions. If you get job, well and good. Salva Kiir Mayardit is a good president. If he release you from the job position, Salva Kiir Mayardit is a dictator. Salva Kiir Mayardit is a tribal president. Salva Kiir Mayardit is that and that and that and that and that. And that is a big problem in South Sudan. So all these politicians you see, they don't have any political vision. Now look at all opposition. Most of them, 99%, they were in the government. Right at the very beginning, from 2005, they were in the government. But they are the one now opposition to Salva Kiir Mayardit, and they don't have any political vision different from the SPLM. Okay, So otherwise, to be honest with you, South Sudan is in a big trouble. Big trouble. I will let my brother Yal come back. I do appreciate that. If there anybody will come in, I would
Yeah,
like
and
to drop out. Otherwise,
I think you had a point.
Thank you.
I think you had a point. What you said about being in government. Most of them are general. They didn't gain being general when they are in opposition. They were general in the government. Most of them are ambassador because they were appointed as ambassador by the same government they were opposing. They were so good. They were talking about this government wherever they were ambassador and they were appointed to different countries. They were talking how good this government is good, South Sudan is good, until they are thrown out, and now they're maintaining their title being ambassador, but the government who made them ambassador is bad. Go ahead, Yalgo.
Ai Malay Clinton ya dia kira itu kingala. Kabela to new point a widow ko kala bakers. Le ibele mo dinga wula. Ku jol diar ko dong we. Biga ber. Itong gini mo Sudan. Achi usak yak tule wula. SPLA 19 before SPLA 82. Di banyak edit. Bugjal bala 1993. Di banyak no edit. Bugjal nyai nabi wan kel. Katimani al jundi ala nyai madinga wul matianga nyor ay togben. Temani alif jundi matianga nyor kunila tiga fiig binan temani alif dior. Temani alif tik. Kedi arab er kagech. Kuna kitik nyang pun kanang bitka ro. Alif tiar kuritum. Mep. Yenu ku yekiya kamida ber mit chabdal bigalim kagech madinga wul. Kuna bicho madinga wul. Much only that. Ugana juru bagan. Kay bun ko tengko ro tokpun bakay no. Acha ber. Iyo ayo dong madinga wul. Ku yenu madinga wul akiro war. Akiba nyang pun budut nyang pun bekat. Rel kay datok. Biya pun gini Sudan. So da yekiya we kay kwa. Te madinga wul bali buglim. Kili mo rut kingala. En re ban jol juba ko jol moy noer ke mu kwel ka ngwan. Gile chol noer nim. Ra kan won men bi te gadet. No won men ni olimatik. Ajil wele yen na dun kan ngwan ke lu madinga wul. Gile ngere wa duwan bay pa du mo yo. Dan jama de gile chol. Ku ya lek ngere pan chan ban den pan chol madinga wul. Ala chiang dan wa fer ke jol yokun. Chiang wa fer na boran ko bu tok tong kran li fodolo. Lo ka jim ka tal bumut. Na niak ka kong phat sa ba. Ku ya lek jang ke jol yok pan chol madinga wul. Ajilo ye na jol pan chol madinga wul pan aji tak dumar. Ka ba jay na la yok ka to ka chirana chi kong nyai. Ajilo pan chol madinga wul pan chi wen. Wong rada chi na pe. Ka jol yok pan chol madinga wul. Ajol yuk pajol madinga wul pana chinya na ndi chira jot. Ka ja bo ma pana ya thiek. Ke yet yang nya na chi ya thiek. Ka le nya nya bu nan thi ja ajol yuk madinga wul. Ajil madinga wul jila yuk. Chiang da wa fer ching wa fer ko ye nwer. Ka jila yuk ba pajol madinga wul ngu pal chiang jit kin jal wo chin. Ya wul le le. Ajil no udara lu el kai ban kai pai. Ya no kan tinggal. Kalau madinga wul ya kot kun gini Sudan tu menang terus kot. Madinga wul, ko madinga wul, ko kaya kalau ni. Kalau madinga wul jangan tu ya paran ben. Laporan madinga wul, paran ben madinga ya tu kabila, wajib wala jalan gini Sudan tu ben madinga. Kau pada proud yang madinga wul. Kunyiar ciang penduduk madinga wul kunyiar ciang gini Sudan. ye mon jing ka mon jing kwan ka ral ko ko ke dere jira wala chen jira e chiang dan patu patu yu nyut ke ayu ku te gup ayu ku te tin nglo ayu ko yung machakil ayu ku lo ke randa ayu ku chiang pap ayu ne chiang ni madinga wul pul bra ya jam par madinga wul ken e pan ko so na ji pur ta ben yerun Quran jol Bol Mel di ban fem da ka yi bi ne ba tambatin kunang man ku yo ku jam man ku de po mar kaya nyar bu tuk be tinin la we madinga wul a ce position a position ka akuma a ce rewe ku do ba zaman di ban mi ga wara ga ka be yuk ki ba su da wala kare ti ben ya ka ba lu defend e do ju gut e do ju gut da ka lu defend ke ji ba Sudan ku jara men ku no ka joren ya ka ti ko e ngabi ya ban ngaji ya ban a ci madinga ce loy because ji man kan madinga wul ka to kuma din tinga da madinga mi arba a kina na madinga ro kan jot u ba lu claim ga yet e an ton kin yal ye pursa e ne madinga wul met lu support na ne ko ji jo kai kwa ko jam kun din ji ban bul ci kwan bi ban bi ya to da ku wade aka ya miyar bu ku tun biwo tun ye chokoyi aya miyar ci dun ci to den lalen biwo tun ye chokoyi biwo kere bu ya gadi bu galot wajilat wed ban an bi ban bulmel ban ki mi yadi bi mi din kiro jot kulel ban ba ya jol bulmel akima din loy ma din kiro kan jora kalto nang position lo tin ban bay akima din gang loy ma din ki kan yu social media wala pa ta panan kwa aki kan kado wa gele ma din wala ke kwa akim kan loy piri na jam ko wa panan ma din wala pen ke awul pet pela awul jam gabtin e yunti jam gabtin en de ni nyiri jam gabtin anga di lakini ache jama da big bang bi rok mu yi ke yi wo a ci panan ke kan ke kaldo a community da ke kan lo kaldo ware we jundu bin ko ga monje na ne ngale ra no mu girma Sudan ko ka ke ko lugu so ko lugu fen ayene kriyo wo zaman di pen na kira na mu ko we ko ja wul bi ci ban Bol Mel ci ban kwa ci ke lwel a ci kwa ni kan ye ni ke le ke ye ting belew duk gam ku ban ka gam ni kwa wo ken le ka bu ka ga ber kra ngan bu ka wan ko bit ko yom de ro ben kuna yom de ben karan ye yom ma dinga wul en tong iran fer ya kol ka bu gu jadi ho ko wa ma dinga wul because ma dinga wul ko ke mbay prison kingala tong ye kwa ko tura jo ko Bol Mel ye ko Bol Mel ci lo ra ju kwa ni ke ne ko polo kan ban bu ke ga loy ko man ji ni ba Sudan ye ngo ya wo ni man kitar go kwa far ko ci loy we kai kwa so o ga ya fidayat baraten ma furu bu ko ya ba bu ka ji ka positively bu ko ya ba bi dan real pat ku nga unity lakini o ga jok tan mana yel gut kala la ji la kwa gi Sudan kan la kula let ya jalan ka damin kai li ba ya kwana yen iten ya jalan ka da bara ba da tuy ba jal kwen kar la pe kan ka ril ko ka mo zom tok ko la nye ka ka ping kedi ya ko yulu ko ya wul ko ka ko kan lu do dai ran jiran dai ni loy ka ken lu ko ka ngan bu ka o bu ka tin yo ko a lu yo mu ti ni ti bin jim jan la kin yak yom do ben na yom do ben ka ti yo ko le ma di nga wul chupan angaro ka tin ke man ji ni Sudan we dari ye denga wala je denga ka wa ka tin bu kin yo ko loy kin yo ko loy ko bu loy ni na lo wa ko ka ka imat wa ko ka lu ka lu to wa ko ka te wa ko mu do ka ake gilgi yo madinga wul ko jam yit madinga chelum madinga yele madinga wul chelum ku bi legi ne le kol chele be gudun jelo ke ne ke rong kuna jangi kiya u ka che ko lo mo ko u ka che ko mudurut we ka che ko ja ga che ko ga cheki we ka che ka dolgu we ka ko ga nyar ku bai pandun dalila zalik bai pandun asan walaya fi Junub Sudan ya le bedol bai pandun we panjal madinga wul ayena asan walaya ini machak bitawo ini machak bitanyir ini machak bitangadi ali madiyang so kabiyen e kieng dun pe ere ka we mi madinga wul en chol walaya duni je peacefully e kieng we nguni mwan e kieng we jam yit e kieng we rute e kieng we rumoy e kieng we geng we kam kun bawra dok ko pe korot yen kana yen ku yekiya karaw we ngene ten moy no ere ci lela ci len lela ara hotel ken a ci lel ban ki ma ya di ko lui tamam ko lu da pat ku judu ma nga unity la ki war ka bu ya wula nyal la wul bana ban pan ku jol unity ko pe ku jala mi ka cham ko thongim ku yit kablu wa far ban ji Sudan so ka pat ile ko kay ka du kare ban Bol Mel ban ki mi ya di ko ni ban Bol Mel kan judu be loy ban Bol Mel e man ji Sudan ko ga bu taw na jule ko belew ko teku ko kay ko ken ke man bay bu dar man awul wala man ji Sudan ko loy kan ji Sudan ku tan ko ni ngan tol Bol Mel akika na wul ka dok tan ko ni akika ka nyala to unum arba'in un akilo ngo ke la busy kan ji Sudan ka kai kwa chika gati kai kwa yiri ya ngin che dai ana ji kwan aka kil bakun un bula loy ki ngi ran kana a che ka bai bane loy ki di jinu be loy ko da ka jinu ngal be ya loy an ji kwan ji no ya yin kwan bakan jinu loy ko da ji biya kwa inga kin be ya loy ginu be nga kada ya tana jam ka ma ba wuli ya apa bi po kwan chen bi bur kana an ba tak ki ko ni po chen ba lo ka chu du ba pak ba ki mar kun ja tak ba ka pok tun ka lu ro ka e pan kana lu ko uga ti bai wa ti jinu Sudan uga ti ban to kwan ti kwan tin ko di awul ka ka yi ke man jinu Sudan hel yin ko de dal ka ti kana ya let hel ke man ku kwan ti kwan tin ku lo man ku ba fe ku lu defend ku ni ti jam na de ya let ka kwa ye man ku wini ko ke ye nya ke dal na pol ni hel yin ya ku chen hel yin ya pyali hel yin ku ti kam e de woni pin dum lu tin in ya ko lu fo lo ko ma di awul ka alwe bu mo jeng bi ko ping ko ma di awul a to ke a mo jeng ti men den ku duwara da tun ti mun duwar ko ku ke a ko jinu Sudan de bru ana right na ni ki tun di awul galar ni ke man jinu Sudan ko kan jidu bu loy ko pek ti mun ye ko fi jinu be ka te we kai kwa so a jang ko ko jam jina chol usariyak o ma di awul wanan la ka sida la ka sida ngi jo pinum ngi jo jinu Sudan ko ngi pinum la ka sida aka won tulu ten ko tulu to den wel ku ya ko fo jël len la ka sida wo ko ma di awul ate bu loy kam ko fi ku jiran kwa ga ngi jinu Sudan ben ko ngi pinum ta UN ngi la ka sida ayit nan ko lo wa ngi bor la yit ku buran ku chu jalo ko buran liam buran yumnum buran mo pak to no la yit no reason ko lo bor da fe la ka sida en reason UN jamal pan chol ma di awul in a green state Medina will a green state kiyan green state a ce mun ji banki ma ya di jor biyar Medina will awo community awo ga ce gam bu bailan bu pol ku gam ku borel in peace ku fekrut agora da gari da duk ayen pal Medina will ku biya pan pak ku paneran bani yele na ye kiya ku ji banki ma ya di jamla yen ta jol bol mel ba kwan biya ne ji bulu ken an ku yi bulu ka to jen ku jom nan koy ku jam ko Medina will ka chu ber a chu ko ni na ye ban da ber ni le ka tin ko wan hak bura fi mu ci bay tan bañ daw ber bawo ma ko ci yin lakin ala ci kwan bu ci du lu way ci mo woni dele ka pinga wel ka dal ci tol dal ka yibin dal ci tok tan dal bor ata dele yin bor bala dal bor ya dal yelo lo ci la kula ka la bor ka ci ba dal do ci ko bor ata tok bor kay ci ci an ci di kan kay ko ci kwan ke tan ci mo sudan loy kuna dot ko ci ko karan be adut be yang madinga wul kene adai ko loy ko madinga ju bo miet bi mading nyai ngun a kira da kwan karan da yu wer ngo gidan chu junubin gidan chino contribution chu loy pan e gidan yino ka bi mading abi ya kwan ya jama ko ko madinga wul rel ko in peace ku jala fe ka go Junuba Sudan go rel in peace we are koy we are called kapap. So nanan kulo ro jinu bu ba bin liab jam ko go min dia wul ku gam bin mo sunan ci ko ya yu mala yam ku mi dinga wulin ko ne yen an wan bi ya fanan je jok ta tui lakina ce o mi dinga wula ce o lo yen bi ko wala gasi unity our legacy respect our legacy truthful our legacy da mu sharaga ku jala equality kam ko kaka akai go mi dinga wul whether chala school ka ra ma because our living while living through liberalism na yake yawe kai kwa kaka loy ka bin bin social media mun ta war ko en Bol Mel o ga dai ka chukit apal ko kini chigman ke kai kwa ko ko ina to ngawul bi jala ne ko das pelem ko kiro kang loy ka tok ko le kai nyal kini chigman a ko bul bu ko oi kwa chuk pale o ngi jinga a ko bul bu ko oi bu ngi jappa na lo ko fi akolda ka bu fi je ri ngona chira da kwa ko le pang nyal ba cho la ke kwa kin mading ya ka martin ngu juwa because pingene ko kwen jiri botulan ci ka ke terkalen do la to de we kai kwa akira era kluar fi juba ananga ci ran tok di tok legen akira legen ni yel got leyin dugi le kai kwa welu rek jelu social media tel kai kwa mal ko ci loy dal wo rek jelu social media ka aben ro tenare ko ci padu min madinga wul bram yala social media ko won be yeng ma shagal ko loy pak like leyin kale kwa bi ko to ka te ku bi chiang pak ke chiang pak dulu apply chiang kir chiang dara ko madinga wul dan kan ila lu apply air kural ko mi tik dan ko yo ko nyu do mi tik tim do madinga wul dan ken ka ya nya na leyin ka ya nya ko bag loy akira ban ko la tiya ne kila bay pande ayo ma sabit before yum banjal ban ko la tiya ma wen awal mara bajal yo ka rom gayen waru ko tumana ko so kula yo ka ni am pa pa jedit ran ga te ka pay ko ka nya jam asimu si je chemi da wul chen ka le chen ka mo akile da lor ka ko ben mo ki le ko di wo mo ka ji ton ka ji ko lu sar jeng den akile le we te le ni yalla la le we tuk pal ka jam raj pro pal ka tek tek mat ko rut bagalo ken madi kayti wala lu nak ba lu ci te jale le kayan we kay ko ba ko chen ko ba jalim ka kira awu madi nga wupen ko jam e ci randa kwany ku tolon ci daga dai loy ku jogo na ci ko nyen ku jikan kwany ke man mading ka ci pat ko ñu ko judo bin sulupa ka ñu ko judo bin da wo madi nga kero war ku ci randa kwany wa kero war ku ga ci bab ci randa kwany jog na ngre din ngre raj mading ku ñaar mading ka zama ni ci ran jol bol mel kwany dingen wol do wa ko nyen ko wa ci ka judo bin polu koy ka biya ki lotin biya bola la de bak ku bola biya la de bak bola biya la de bak na le dor ko bomol lakin alok dun bu bo yok gide wi yo pu ko tel wi ajo tel de jogi ku jale ko ya wula ni ko ya wula sa pot bu kir ko je pe ko sulta ko jigin yo ko lo fe ku lo ni lungene e bu le public ten ten wo bu ping dugu jo ni e ko yi ban ki ku tak ware ti mudan fe ore lo ko ya kuma ugare ti mudan fe ore lo ko nyarut ugare ti mudan fe ore lo ko ti ko ugare ti mudan fe ore lo ko kai mo ugare ti mudan fe ore lo ko kai le yit ugare ti mudan fe ore lo ko kai madi kada ina walla ga si ko kina la ga kuma kre riam dai chi war kwa di ting yango da ka nya re ril pa chi na to we kai kwa ka yi to ding ni chale ku ba yang ma ko chi ni chale ini ba ja ben to fi jam waru sal ding ku ni ku blu at ka ba ja lu at kan ja lo ko jerel ku ba ja ben ben
Thank you, Yal good. Ki ya wi balwe nan ko ki kira kwaz loira san tu kana jetwi messenger. I know some of you are here friend ke gan Facebook. Lakin I check your messenger. Link jetwi jin I know a difficult command ke chol stream yar kan ba ben. Facebook and ke dan le kan ngi chol camera yik click and then you come in. So you can come through YouTube or you can come through Facebook. So link kan jeta come in the comment section. Ko ran won ke request specifically aja tuji through messenger tag dem gor kamana tingi ben dem ko ijal so the ningan wujin click the link in the comment section and then please come in deng ding gabal kan dokin taban nang ka talik tini below long ka ci yal god loyal den ko jala message ben ba yes so mading awul in general I think the idea of debating agraria mading awul ko jirel ki mading awul in general angika back in 90s Kenichola will use union, you would see people Mamadinga will are disagreeing to the point Balula Koila Katha. Lakin after the meeting, Abakiboka chat bading Kabul Mutento of an Nintendo. So this is not new. So the Bimaluya disagreement,
yes
you don't resort to Baran Balat, well a Balina community Ranaboloy. A Lebulu debate one on one, K disagreement. Point which is a Ujalaka Saki, Kubalaga no, Kadiasa, Gwen Sakin, Gudun Chesa. Kena Ache Kichu Yellow, Ache Kiran school. And I know some people have been talking about oh, I will keep it. Pure young is one
ngi
thing to
kan
learn how to read and write.
yes
You could be shown ABC or Alibata, Bakiga got a quiz comes up. Can a teddy pure jit. Lakin ye well, I don't know that is cool. And what you goodman is schooling ye well. The kid is schooling ye well, a jal by Penamur Kegur. It ain't will need it. Bikabaluel, Bangarai Pobangi, you know, can the little in Garan, Yapo. The kid gonna keep on the loy. So is schooling ye well a part of your culture. A part of you bang out who can in can you correct them I would one. Lana will get a little wet loyal when I love you know which are there for a talk. Will I you felony get a lawyer away like in Mali? And ye will can carry on gin. Rather than really I could I eat in Nadio, when I can look at Nadio. No. Again and brought Chad get a leg and can a kinda. Kulagin Mali. Some of it ka chiang into from Mading Out felony. Are you quite consider no quite Mading Out? A coi chè bắt thì nào lưu trồng ra tất cả tôi trong cái mình nhiều tôi cho mình gọi tôi into made okay that I coi in but they can be used I think lakin o as Mading Out chiang a chil bawari kenen balwel ko chi dikto ding ding kilwel I know nang coi chakayok they're trying to respond using that individual community balwela ye nang chian the community la community do la rel with gan I think lana ko jol de joga ki kiet agwara anangan jol wol wan ko je mo nya wan wa ket la ting la ge ran yu su bi ala ni kitik lom na la jol tik dial din ka ting ka jora jam na kitik lo bagen kitik lo bi an kel wel
ke den ko ke yo ye lwe gal ko ni te
achu gam na ne ngande kila ben ku le ga ina gala ko la mu kiet ke ne che de ke na so and it would be my advice also then ko ma dinga wul if you want to respond to that individual kalagi yen jam yen kya badug nom to if you want to depend it on behalf of dinga wul lagi ne dun chalo che de mating kudu la tin ba community de ku ba lo je dengan ria jog masalan bana yinda ku ning ku le tong aba e tong ran thor a che tong lo lakin aba tong ka thar tabi tong ki na thar ku ne te moy du ku de ngey du ne te ngi a che ko ba ga la geru ger ka so kana tan ko ira tin fel ni ayo ka nan ko bizar ken nyen tin jo linda chi ko la tin ku community treat bi jam ko de no. Yeah, there are some individuals when they big power, including Mading out. By the way, they joke. They joke check it rock. Can machine for again, I roll a machine for. That's the easiest thing you can do. So getting nearly long, you go back like nearly run. So nobody knew nearly long, nearly long and bad day joke. So they're for the.
We got a belly, we got will pay. Then, Lungan Kun, chi one material, good work, chi bank quality and again. Koi kwan ke ta Junu Sudan, ke siyasin, wala chiga siyasin and mahem. Chumanata ni web, can bear in the jam the kind unity we be Jordan King, that quite a juba. And we jam go war and shit and one look at 1.1. I try to think the blue can. When you go back, you put your thing. Why you want a long run? I think you can have your tea, Lily. Research that you look because you got tired of what you pay the movement do. A gabilla, it's all wool. And we can leadership. I think. Gana biyo ka taba ara very smart ka kai bear when ben told them go lela kala two reason reason number 1 la wo ben kala wa mi ni rawul so na len han tu kwan ke anga ya pada wul ka ma ke blada wul tin ki de ber kati we ko waja ngin ti on le mo jeng ti on le ko ni nai report conference ki ka wul ti da wo ko nya we wo ba le la we ko wala la mi chale nga ba kwan nga ben wen ku le nga che kwen nga ba kwan kuran pa kati en chen ba ri ti ki kana fa en ya ki ko chi yal god we lo ka mer ke ni da ke si asi da wul da ke wi bi ki ka ma ra si asi mi da wul ke juba ku chi ga ben bi ba bra lu nga le lu nga cha ga ran da ka ku de chi na sa ma tin bi so chi mi de ben e ting mu na cha ta ni wa ka lo mi ke la ke ran ko bu ne en chi dai kwa lo mi ku ta ka chen ke se chen ke yi ke se so sometimes sen ke ya na ne ko jam ke bi le ke ka ma de len ke yu ke ba lu fi social media o ba lu de le jam tin ki du ra la target ba ir dara wala da yin lo ti kene che ai long siasin kene tin ko na le ben o ko ja wul fa la ni ke bat no ke ko ju ma ni ran ma fi ku la ke di pe le ben na wul yo me ka ki ngar kan ko ta yo kan kam jadi ini jaman di itu kan jadi banyak kami kene wen ka to ben na won gal barana la kwa ke secretary mun kwa secretary pat go ran ke ju bo ti go ra go tempo gal ke biara na wala kwa ke secretary kuraga ki pe pat ba ja tin ne ya pe de tel ke u ba so go ni u ta ban ba bo ka ngi ke pat ke u cho ga man nyan ku no ga ke ran pa ne wala ke yo mai ni ga ke da ki ke to rem ne so ke ke na week ne jo ka ko na len ki mo chi ra example myself and about personally ko nyan ke monitor ati ranchero kwa yu be ban ma na tu e man wa ra cha le ko ul le ke ban ka ma no ban kwa ke monitor de ati jodi na mana tapi pasal pasal ke dia kan boleh ra no e juga man ni ati so ko la tin ko ja ul ter ke ko je ka man te ke ni ro pas ke ne e bu jale bo la bo nya ke la tong e yo mi ra mi yo ke dir kan ke ne ati lakin dia ke pat e ra mi man ke ni yo nya ra len ko cha ben be ko rek dia ke ga lu cha ka bi ho pat ale mul ba de ngo shi yal mul be ka mul lagi na yo ber ka chu jal moy to dar ide ka jal le ke juru jayo tu ci mene ñane jol lino frege na ca kwati ci gadang ci kor gadang de joati kule gala enda re changi mari len tawar bu ko di changi bi gaban ba to biara ba to we o chiru ba to be ba to kadi be du pal ti ko gati ke ñente mama ya cái là mấy mình because the ten ku du swal ri ay chol yak Junu Sudan la chingi political vision ali ketar pa de loy pa na ki na ki nya ki ra chi luon ke yo men ki mi hadi kan e wa yo ma cha ku ba dan madi e wa ja yo ndar na bu wa nya ke la ñu fra la kati agwa tingol war ki ko wa da so jumi de ga le bol mel la ke ko ula le pol ka gel bi kilo mata yo dina e ko ba le bi so jumi de ke la ka ko bol mel bi la mata ko ja kwati فالمهم هي جالي شو دو بدا تماما يا ما لي تبع يو تجاو شو بيريدو لكن يا ريو بجام تو مو جام
No, no, it's okay. No, yeah, and yes, and ko je
ana
most
ko
of
le ko le di bo ke be to dal
adi me put anang ko je request lo iten ani chol bol engor whether bol akongor in check your messenger. I know you were not a friend with me, but I sent you a link through messenger and through also, and I think ingade one santo tam gan baglo. I know it's hard to get into StreamYard, lakin tam gaya do through your Facebook wala bala through YouTube ene kala baloy ye no ga ba mati yal go rimbe ayen ke chi deg ning lel yes tok war ga chol mi den ko kek pinum den ke tar pinum ben e power ku jala cham braille in a position when bin nang access to ku kuna ira ne lel we ga ma ting na ya ko chi bi a dogen no ke we ya doge gran gen man gen ko ku jog jen ku jog jen ga jema gen fodal yel got
ko yi le le fo ga di tur ding ye tawan to e banya order ba ta wa tan banya te wa tan ban bole chi man tong twen ku bi nyot jam dai ko bi nyot junubin a wi bi nyot da o ko ja wul ga libro pan jol ma dinga wul o ga libro man ku ci kwani ku ban ta yom kin ta ko ne ku dun ta gam ko ci bu koy det yen tu wek to tan bun ba fi ga fi wa san tan jambra am gad eze la buda to disagree reason ya disagree ina long la na lo gad ba de ba jala bi ka reason in disagree ka ba jaloi ka bulu sabodo so wa mutu ta ga tan ga tin jam ko dan kiram ke ra dia I met him ko ne mi da bun jama farna el ningi graduation ceremony wairom na bi da kri jam jibo wairom na ko la siok ben jal ke ji wai do ma jitach waja ko tekni fanakin o wai jam yen jam do pun ajin ko menten bol mel ku yena che genis bol mel ko dina ba lunga chat gol na ku jide krande lo yok tun lor jala de bu chol abe choga ak mashakil kene to akira ko ino meten education system yini tori ni pye ku ja ko bi ta pye achi usa jak wel wala ona buni ni wel angwar ke yogurumen ona buni mi je ran kan mo angwar ke yogurumen ona buni ngi ko ya ngi angwar ke yogurumen ona buni wen ba amur wen angwar ke yogurumen ke garir yamik nari ka yamik kanyi wel en chung ya medinga wel bugel buka nyi kam kwa kutengi wel ci ban yak lelun ter e ba ko ni ma wan ku yak ru pieng wel ku yak ru tek ku yekin man ku ye teki kwa yak lo medinga wel ko ga ci de kaloy ko ga ci de kaloy a ci ngi dongwe ak ya ko pi ka ga ai pi chieng pi je chieng kuna chok nang share ditet ku siang shingi buran de raj po shingi ka phi du ne ke war du ne ka war du ne be chen bali e siang ni mung num siang randet ku sing lul ki mi sing men nin ku yo ge ke gi kwa ya ka lo me dinga ul so tene ne yel got ya yo phi du ne fit pat phi yit ba twen e phi mer ka yi e phi ga mo e phi ga jam yit e phi ga te e phi ga lui tok nim phi bi wan na phi bi wan cái chỗ đó bác cái gì bác cái cú nhà cái lối cái làm bác cái hoàn nhà cho cái wajar cả à chỗ war cái cái wajar wajar cái ruồi yên itu ko jam pura la jal bác cái apol kuli ko nguyệt ko e buru tanga lối ra jo yên di siasa na cái siasa luen cái lung siasa luen la chỗ quan bolo kumri ran ka nyega mach a chan ba kumu piat e community jilen tin kan piat there why luen la weak as long government is a weak when society is a weak the government will be a weak government because ina jal cái same attitude kun community kan te wek matil ba ru datil a jal ga yin ki apalo kuma ya ci la war kwar ki lo tui a jal ga yin lakini a community ro gwir bi ga lo kapap kwa lo kapap don chak lo ten ka community kan gulo kuma yi bu pozi bi yok ka mu ri ci de wajilan tu bai panden bi ku background a jal te kan gwir tin ku te kan maditin ko ka ya ka lo madinga wul so de jogan jam ten men tena yel gori jogan jam bi jam ga ken ko kula cha ku yo ka lo ya different ka lo ten karanti kan chalu consider because na ngi ko pe ti kene ngi ya de en fi to ngi ci ko pap ku tiang pap ku jala ka ci ga lo ma die ngi ci ko lo panden bi nyeri kam ken bi ko nyeri ne wi kuna ku kale ka yin ku kan bi ko nyeri ko mun ka ti ko ko ja pap ko ngadi ene nyi wi bi mu ten yen a cin ko wa tunu wi ma dinga wul randi kurangi kan ayela ta yelo ta cin lo min ceran kuna ci tiel ka jodom nyali nin kala ka yewuntu ka yina ceran na kun wigi wop lakin da relin ku da kutin lo ni ka kan apal ban ku gudu na ti eri wa yari ko jin ene reason nan kutin lo ni ka tiel ya lo ka african trade ko wa di leng o jin we ko ngadi na jin man ku na ki yok ki ta ko nombara nga batil kaji so kai belwel tin a jama ko mo ko ba fursa ku telefon de ko to mun tin ya pan jol madinga wul e pan kiti pan jol madinga wul e dig bu prawo panda dalu wa chak ko jupan lo ku nyali ko julo ku pinyum tu gambo yamat a tu gambo su violence a tu gambo rote a tu gambo kay mo so ngi dongo ya ke glong nyali a ke yelu ko ke madinga wul ay le pala kang pin ko madinga yo ko palpin ko ju sa yag wela ala war do tu community ko ya jam rai madat disagree to agree nale to pa den kram chik kam za ya ja kula ko mit pon ti ken en pon dia pin ya bundel ten forgiveness de pyo jam ko nin din e ki ken ko juglo ro tui so na ye kya ka patu bu ka proud na ka tu ngur gup ko ka tu ye ko rande le gi ko chwa gup ke nya e pa do ke e pa do pi pi ni lakini ke de na le de ke ro ni ku de wala jogan bojman ana ba ji ma ake ko jibli kan ni sela ko kila kan ni ga ta ma so ko ngore ma jen ma bu duk dul dun gri en dul bi ba duk ba den ba ya bu duk ba en bliu ba ya bu duk bu chwir to bliu ba ya bu duk bu chwira ka je bliu ba ya duk bu ju yum ni nyire ba ya bu duk bu ga ru ala yi ba ya bu duk bu ka ru ape ka jira ku ro da da le ka jilla abu duk ku ro ka yi so ra duk du duk ba ta tin sana ba miya sana lo ba ya berto we kai kwa so yi kai chakal ka e yi ngi kloi yi ngi kloi we ma dinga wul ko jeng le yawi ka pai ko la o liberals o ma dinga wula antong doctor aje kar kaje ay man nim ku pot ko nim ku lu ka ke ku le binga jam thong ko ga jam ko thong ko ku karot tele yin min bala ko ku jira kan jam ba ga doctor kan yotu ya de ku bani chay ko ci ting yin ka doctor jadi ninga du ti da gor bay ko lo yin very different from ral ken ku ka ban fi education kaman acere de elo ran fi ke nur ini je nur ji yirot ini je nur ya ga dal gup ida nur baro mar ko yani ko joran ko ko bin ni ke ran fi ke nur kaka anyet aya ka loy ay medinga wuloy akoy patien akoy podrel kuna ngi ku wo rel duna pak rel da pak ku joran jambu ka ngir ko ka ngi go bo tu yum la yam iko da wangi je dal pak ku ngi dile ka dal pam nyali ka dal ken dal pam nyali kin ke beso ko ba ken dal pam nyali ko joro ko tu ka yam ko ga aga jingari jay so hen la bu to karba we have a talk doctor we have a talk musadiak wer jarin ka dai social media de ko jir go Sudan kun nyari jabo ina biye ku jinu abunang law nom ko bunang dor ko bunang berting lan ceng ma dinga wul aba jir go Sudan kana abu do da banyai ma dinga wul muraja la kad nasir barum ka di ber won tiar akin tong do ma tor nasir bi ko ceng dun pe da bikti na le ga yo ka ya dir lor ko ya lo su ka ya ti ko pap ka jinu yo ka ceng dun kana Elvi kana na le ja yu la ka bo jot bu yo orientation bu ka lo oriented na ji ori oriented ka ko du mura to keni a chan bi pa ya pir ji ko ro til pir ji ko ro man pir ji ko ro lom pir ji ko ro ki di ko ka men nyal ka wel ka abi ka yo lom ki ku nyal be ko be ga me jal kai kwa na nga we kai kwa gunu bi ke de cho ma dinga wul na cho ma dinga wul ko ma dinga wul ka ke ni ko lo ka ni ka ke ka je ke ni ko la koy ma dinga ci kan nim laj tu ko nim laj ke ko pada tu ko nim le ko ma di ke da ben ko du lo niak yo blaj ni ko ko jani ti ko ten ko her ba jal jal ko ba to ko
ban ya ga bijal ka man lang jo ben long eten so wa ma da bul wa ja ben dai yin den ku bijal lang jo ben long eten da ban
Okay.
ai
Yeah, akwai
ya ko
Dr.
ga
Didi.
da
Banyal gwad, yal gwad jal. Okay, I think I might have echo here. Ini jalur bany bol ngor. Topic kan kedua din lurit. Jaga dinu men kwen bol mel to yalo duat. Ko yena chira antok taban. Kun der jalur den I'm not responding. Kana antok mine I know jalur der nyan kai lina chi bi de jam ga tit ko chi ni chen ga bien ko bani respond. Ko chen wore nan ko ratin ko ya position fi social media. Uh, especially fi clubhouse. I think. Ko ya igual atun ko including okay. Malay Santu, kadang aja tem ko gani kila dal tawan in this is where I conduct the show through StreamYard. So kanang dip ko sometime aben. Kayen anang ko je gwa jad including itong nas ra kala loiret. Kulo ke bol mel loy kan. Kute dan di jar je din ngode bol mel liutin. Dere ya aka woni wel jala share ko mat ke community ko ya liu tawan. Kana gracias ma ile ke ko won ke le ka ko marada. Lana jina ana marada yo ka ben ba ku ma yigdino. Modul ma chen gabila met. Ku ke ka ko marada to kan aka jam gule kan gabilia. Kwa ke ben gule la ku ma kan aku ta denga. Ku kin me yadi jab denga. Ku ko mentin bol mel la ja ko ma dinga wut same way. Be be masalan ke ra le state mentin gale ya ku ma ka chia gar ma don kai ke ni ke pe kwa ke ga jam ka. So ke ban yo it sim na ngan ban mu tar be long tu kayen wol ga nyin che da ngi loyal wi be loy kayen imba ka pal ga min gudo matne
ai en ban yak ma ko ja ya pin ni ja mo da pe I hope I can be sa when be clear.
ini aping son do quest lotwing
Good. Ayen your viewers, Kujalayan Tinchung Media, so we got your mother pay. I greeting all of you, your viewers, Kujala all the medias, Kega Chilo Air. Shin Pursa, you can ban, Bajama Keg Lakin on behalf
of this show right now, and Chichana Chayuk. Kitwing Tanko and viewers, I think I apologize. Tanike, in Bayak, and a lot of people they want to come in, but along difficulties, technical. I change more like I book I ben. The in that show gonna show for the pay. Relate coach jam twing. Kicholen about the ban. I'm not the politicals. I'm not a politician. Well, I'm not coming here to analyze any politics. Then, getting Kicholen about the Ayuk quite dear Lord. Kulang ran chinye dirapat ku kulola tinkai chi din tu kai na vidia kier tina chan badia la dir and Kicholen about kitwing jam brother yel acha yum po pai brother yel good acha points resur kwa kang mahim pai acha galwel all those Sudanese watch opposition taban which all opposition we have to know which all opposition uh, chan opposition ako when ake against anything come on look at post acha galo chan bulela na chi opposition chik banbe kulambi chik din ko iluel tan aspelam wala langi chik ko iluel tan ban bol melen po kwan kan ta bana ga den kwen londe opposition ke ga che asadafy chane na lang lo ya kuma kadil ga gamin ukre en ke choke opposition en ke tuen ban kir ma yaren bele chin tim jo kwen bin ya le kan le tuen ban kir ma yara bele ja pe ke chien ban bol mel chene kwan ke man awul o taban o ko ya wul wa chi ke che le ko ya te ko to kubran bala ko jam ba men kuida ba kuja ke the reason in be an bankir mayar in bene le ya pay a chance you use kujala introduction akola ninchulwel officially in when and to use achaka ye chance a chanke people la twen ko wai we kai kwa ulmen the chong lang kun jam bu wala bala ashe madinga wala ashe bi ashe ubi asla kadin ko unchi yelwel you know uga ko we celebrating inu manda ashe ban ashe bai ashan bu koy ben wanim ci man bañu junub ko ci madinga wul ci ko bolcu ku kene ne reason pay eno go nyar ashan bu koy biru ben mat ke madinga wul bu bol mel bu ban bo ci ku tungu ta ben bay ta ben ben ya tendin ere na anshal bol mel e kir ma ya di den ko bol mel ke wa president kan South Sudan ene kwene ta anshal kir ma ya ko kir ma ya re che bay bi ane tan yen be sabab بسبب من سبب كان كتير دنيا إنه أبي بن كون الواي سو نيران بكير ميار نيران ببن كون الواي عشان بلوان ده بتاب زي ما شو وقتين كلا كين زي ما شو وقتين الله activities para pay كون كاكا كهم ملوي من وشيران دي تباي ويوجي لهم كنا كبي بنكير كبي كان كنا نيران ولا مشكلة كيان كهو مدين واجب تورا pay كنا نشمع دين نشي باي kwe na chu ko chol ke ti chol jam we war chu le nu yen lang mi da ber ju ku yen ka man lang widows ju panchol mading kena a chu ko ya be a chu di right po lakini wa wadan bu lang mading it was a good cause financial jinu Sudan panda ko lo ku be ju dan ju ko min mading te chongen ko no ko lang ko kwan chi dong we ka bi ni le ja bu ka lok ti kwa bi pinyi junub abu ko pugu yo mala ya kena alu bulu lo ga pro tan ko kwan ji to ke min mading dil bai ke bai na ke kena ani ar ko pe ajan ke chi ka panda chi ke bai be o ya ku ke ya ku wel kin ya ku wel we kai kwa we koi kwa mun che min mading o te di waren bi ban jon garan kene kwa yo shu ko pe kwa yan ke taro bu bai bu ban be ko pi o ko wel ki chola SPLA wala SPLM ke chol ba en muhim da biku inu panchal Junub Sudan e panda kuna biku bai ka pallo ruchit ka choro e mantena abu junubin abu ka yuka din e ka chol legitimacy ka chol legitimate president en ka yuka yen dan chol bolmel ala bu ka ken right now ko min madingman ko yena pada pay message en ki brother yalla go tilwel ci ban wala tian cien chur ka chol unity min mading bu yin mat kinin bi wo mar ko kai ku ke ran chol bol bi ke akuma en bi en ke legitimate by president kinin ala bu ko ken wacha waida acha waida ko janu manda bu kwa nyu bay ker ma yara la ku jama yere nye ran chol bol mel ya ko ko mi ma di wa chi la bu ti ala ya munye yin bol mel ere yo ka che obi acha community ere kwa nyere ker ma yara la ngade ci gam danen ku ran yen ngana ama bay so wayan ni kibi ne aki mading aki ti la ran ba bay lu we na bu gal we la bay bol mel ayen no ngade ci ting danen so yen kina we kai kwa acha kibi mading acha kibi yen te ma ger ban jot bu kwade ka wun bur ku lel achan bu ka le go ko mi madi o wa ji ta kuna jin yali ko ben liye jin yali mading ti ben liye bula ma ndan be ritwem ku ben junu ben la e chu ka chan bu ben kwanchu ka kina o ga yuri ti dun ka we mi junu ben ben ayo ku chol mat karut ku ye ka fursa ben ga yen mading ben ga yiran chol bol mel ka ne beta de na ka kon ben sel fakir ma yadi ruwai ba tingal en langa bu woch wala langa bu ting wo ya kulwela this time a time I can bukurut mat burun mat ka waya monje burun mat ka waya ko iman ugla kew chemin mading awul alang ko ilanga kew ta dino uga kai ga kuma kwache manda anwan in lela ke man mading emu kuma wo te bena anaben kun chi yel go tilwel ko ga ben ko ken this is our time chan bu ko ke mading awul kino aliam tan ko kwan iran kwa kai ka ko ku yu ku buran chol bolmil yu ku bursa ke chu bu go da pe ko we min mading kwa da ga ran ben ran dai e alwela ko chirjot ku ka aspelam party ko yun ke kiran chol bolmil che bay ya ke lang ke chi lwel nu wo kan chol bolmil chu wi ko ga lu ku bu go da pe nu wo yung na e manda in che bay ka aspelam party ko wo ko tawan uga bere loyal tana aspelam ngo lakini opposition ka gut ka kina bukta sa opposition kan ro telenga anche madinga bay we madinga wul we relten kidu kula achan bu community da bu wala lui mention de cholon chen mading lui mention achan o shu wi bu koy ko china da awo koy ko chin mikla ko bu ko bana bay mikla dan kan ko min mading ye kunya direct ran wala nga che koy wel ten wo min mading bu lui mention ka ye rot du community da du ku yan kana yana ke ya nyar bu loy ko we min mading ku unity da e mahim pal ga joj ka ben unity da e mahim na yen yali choye ne balawal biya manda ko marut ku pal ku ka kok woni ku ber ka won churut ku lel wala ka won churut ku loy ka pala pe ku ba loy ba loy ba nyu rani nu yin ni loy unity mading ku jala ni nyaru ko ku jala ching ko nge ching ta chi ka ban panda a chu lu bulwel na e lwelen ka ku lwel ke ki chol friday chung nyai inu wen an chiron ngom inu era ran unity inu era nyar ko kana nyar ku pal ko la panda chimen right now mading a wul ko ratin alang different gabel walang different ko be ko ku siang in chen kan mading a chen yo lu approve inu da ti ran min mading a wul ke ashin mikla ka kwararan bloten kere an yara chan pulo ka ya we kai kwa du ku got kana churu loy ku du ku leder ni de la rani ku du leder ku tung nam let ka ja ya yin real di te chan bien ke de mun go ya lela ran chol bolmil a shikir ma yara chi bay ku bolmil lu bu ko ke yen ko ya spelam ko lu bu ko ke yen ko yo min madinga wul erin yen boladin madian ko kaman ko political telengan when members of SPLM akali ba ko ken rin tubi bol ba loy e ko bu bay be ben gwir ko man ko gwir chu lu bu nin tong ke ga ya bu ko ke tung kuran chol bola chin le bulu affect te ban den ko jam min tin a chin le burai kadin ran chol kir ma yar chi bol ba already the chol ngin jam 24/7 ka chin le bu war tan an chol kir ma yar chan be no war e kir en ngi kiden ko nyen ko kir en ngi sabab den en rilen ka bol tawan lan ma bu bol ban ba ke ne be ka kene we ko ran tan ka da kan we ka wo ma ding men ko ga chi kan ko yun mana kuma wala ko yun man mading a shu ka ber we ko we mi da kwa we ko nyar mading ko chi yalwel nyarin mading kai ka mading this time purza du oben ben yak kuna ben yak ka mading oben ko ke yin o wa chi ko ban diktor John garanga pai wa chi ko ka ban sal fakir mayadi until now kuna chin yali chu ben ye blanga dan ben bay ke ne kayo ku shol tan we ben ba ko we special kwat chol monjang ay junubin mun kan yar ka pel won en bro loy madiang lok tren ku pal ku tiel tiel cho ba ya tren ku tiel na loy ku na chen ngak kirande ci ba ya ku ke lo ba ya ge ni zen na nya kan ngak ben ka kinu ka ba ci bla tren ken generation change we are ngi we wodia we are ko won well educated we are near chan walk this time I can wan bol mel bu ye fursa de kuna la ngi bol wo ka bu kwan ni agi no kana ci bol wo kuna la ngi tin ka bu nyot inu ka bu gwa nyot inu ran kana sabab inu ko yin kan kana ci pu mer yin ba ya ko ga tir a ci show kana ci ka da gwe la kira da bo ga du kuna da bo ga let la kinen an buron mad brother yel gurto inu wo wa du ko min madi ay ku le wa ci let ko ci na let twen na la kire ci randa ci lwen ki du ku du num kire na ayo ku yuga toka pe ko bit le ku kada ku lok twen abi lon mu loy abi nyali no madinga pan pat madinga pan ngi unity madinga pan nan yi loy akan ngi loy kana ene tabiya ne wo jam tin ko min mading bu ko din kuna lan ke chirot bay ku du ku dum ka tu ti midin wen en e jam yela bude na chola na bo wona ki ban rin jam to ti jam e jam cha yung po ko nyam lu ku nya kan anh nhảy tới đuôi coi khối à mà tiếng nó cái chữ nó coi cái nào luôn là coi là lết cái nào nó luôn bán về bên cái đó mà tiếng nó coi chỗ coi xe nãy chứ đang là bao nhiêu camera đây nhìn của lần đó chụp quay luôn của cái bán cái mà tiếng chơi qua như nó yên mà cái đàn cái nó là luôn cái bây giờ cái đồ rồi cái này cái lên ngàn chụp quay jam cái bây giờ cái đồ rồi quay tới đây à tất cả mình mà tiếng ran ki cái bây là ran ki one them community there ran ki qua nhà chàng bên jam cái spokesperson of that community abi akidoro telengi denju ko ilwen wo ga cha wi bu la kat kwa ko we mading ku kara tan ko eri la to ko cha nyar ya a chan we ko dai ba la kat kun biria tan mading eri nan man mading tung la ngi ko ilwen wo de bana la ngi kai tin ala ran jam pat wala ran ko jam kiran siasa siasa ngi ku taban siasa kene ko yin boro shopping wala ngi ya wel mutar yes tin siasa kay bay come bring the platform banyu junubin yango ba ko junub ku yango chinga wo ku terga election na la election ben kulanga la ke den wi ko junub kabla ko shab junub no kule ke ga te en ba ban ka te la ba gwir bana ki ba loy ngadi ba loy kwa ke du ne ting ba loy junubi de chan bi ke chwet abala leke kuna gam ga yin ka bi chwet kwa kul chwet ga yin ma de ga wala le ko ga yin kultur ga gin madinga wala lu ko ke yi kayanin ban yak anje pumiet pusen je yegan anje benatan wani ke siyasi lakin ka ko samta ha ko pun ko dinga siyasi ene ke siyasi lakin ene bo min mading ba ka dogi no wa chila tong ko ga chin kre bil ku tan ko ran ila ke ko kwaran ma ko ang war ko nyagu na chonga yin ilen mading yakul ku jorat bala panda pancol mading ina bu lor bina bu nyoy bina bu mo ya piu wala bu ko chiang de chita ter wo mading o ko chila mading o ko chiang ina man kai ku du ran yun mading inu yini ra teta kadi er wo wa che na ter ke kwani ran e ku nyar mar kurut ko wo right now achan bu ban bol mel ku ye kam da bu ting bu bai bu lo kada yen bu ban kir mayar bu ko ngada mainda eran chol kir mayadit wo ga ko SPLM na yadun min SPLM yin la hak yes ba kun wel ke bagalwe lakin this time a time dung madinga will community to lu involve na ye jam ga jam SPLM party inu ke ga ji koy lui ita nin buram ga sesin kan SPLM abi bear kuna ya against government kai jaminu government kije working kana abi bear kaya kudum madinga will community innocent people ke lim ke shirana shin mun kurana shin man bagala bairin ko cin ba konke o a shin yin man lakin ya le tabo liye yo malaya mi madinga char char ka ke abi ko abi ko na dia raber ke kidum wei abi nyali abu ko mumi randa shin ke masa kuma inda shin no kujala mi ka shin no kuranda shin ani na America kuranda shin ani na Australia achinda en Greek sagit kicha makalto achinda en yuktin because of what cause of South Sudan achan bu freedom bro loy tan ko chala rabar yakulu kudan ko chala tayarat kudan ko ke muk siasi achan ka kariyam rum ko ka achu pu pe achan big kapat biloyo e alwela ala du ko bui kudu ko birin na la du iba ko inke ki joran ka manazam du achan bala botwen min mi da ber ka bin go ko min yar widow bin go ko lakin du ko bui inu ke kana rol ken kana miet ken erkin ki chiwo nyu tene kwen kan ke ya lam nyal asin kana marim le ba lamda wo jinu go Sudan ya bariam kwa e ku ba lam ko uramin mading abin nyali abu ko chol dan chol Bol Mel abin nyali abu cho abu real achana la ke chi lew ke le real nyali achan bu pan chol mading bi shira bu pan chol mading bu ban be nyal le wo yes le ko wo te bi ati man panen you know abiale ke man mading lakin this time a time da kaye man mading nalan ke ko den Bol Mel ke ka 100% achan ba ko nalan differences ke ral kam gwa wo min mading ke nyangu chen kutanku achan buran chol Bol Mel bu ko nya pe achan blonden kana bu tongi blonden kana believe bu ban kir mayadi bu ko 100% achan bu bai ro chong nyende ba cha ke le pe wer bu ko nya
شكرا فنان ابو لينغوبي بولمار دنا كويكيك طبعا بولمار فنان ينكلي جباي yan maraj yina ana la dor lakin kan aja lagai le ko nan koy wujin ya na jama am sorry and taban this is not a Facebook page a Facebook page nang idan de ke kamera ya tingi relenten so and fursa ba gamin yan maraj ken taban bian yal it title kan ke jatotin ken appointment ta Bol Mel sha thorny tane koy when so called opposition or activist adding a coach in the end ku nebe ci jël gol nebe yu rafen won ko nan koy grafen ku kaya ci jam don so can in ke bay nyal in connected to the community again ka kam ba pali ba wado martin ya ku na la to kin koy bok a show ba tiyo fadal
ai in we ga challenge word ka yan taban an jibril pa izatu lanu zaman nan kan loy kaman ko ci jamon ter ke zaman yoga bak den ping lakin ken bo ma te no en japing fandan bol ngor ya yo den jam kan bay taban in ja siyasa cin kit ta yin jam tun ku tin analysis do tun ya siyasa kan intimate siyasa khalas we koy dai we ga challenge pa ba yag ma koy jara team chok ita arab kuraja pa tuno junubin sometimes siyasa chuko tek to community because by pan management South Sudan ke republic and political parties majen kujala political party chan balu join ini che ure che tie wala molti wala community ne tie so courage bala loy ku pet bala loy accountability should not come directly to the community in courage chaloy out in independent chaloy accountability should not come directly be community praise wala community pet which can the political party wouldn't be in the elect wala any criticize yeah and then the politicians kujala other mahara they learned all this few weeks going to Benjamin Bol majority of them the thinking cake achin constructive criticism labiran bain yal ke haja won yani mahara won banna lan siyasa menen piat kubran criticize based on their policies which woy muketing lakin zam wasilta marhala bala fi ashkhas ya shakhsiyara ni lu dual tin the most jating tin ko joj Salim ko chini Dr. Peter Biara Jack Kharij Harvard University. The thing that you better criticism there ache policies ran chin kirmayar ke bench by a chak siaran kira yilla a chak ko chat. And sometimes you ask yourself, Zol Wusil Marhal inu ke Richola ke Dictor, one of the best universities ke graduate thing. Lakini to Wusil Tamar Halinu Momdu Chikur to that level, then education is not questionable sometimes. Lanka the Tong Jurel Galamabzil Balam Cage because a quadulu are kai Luela got Vilman Taligan Chinka Jockton, Key did income that I think you appear to just. So I could Beluel and about their but all this opposition Bakadok. CSLO based on personalities. I can say because siyasa that daga da baran ba yuga tagadu as a policies can which became low by ko jala ka kiguir ko ka jo jibran chin bol until now me yo ma kin loy kin ya chang yeko la ke me yo ma kin loy but because our hearts are so full of hatred wasil marhala yani kida ga chin mod kin ya to mo jang loy yani wasil marhala chung mod dar ga kira loy la ka bi bol guir ki bol guir ka ke guir I chung ya till now Chimana na saburan chon come gonna tell us. Man ba chibol kwa ngene bre which bol wo kala jam kang 2014, 2013, 2017. These are outdated information. Ala jam ko kene businessman. Kuna lok jam ben ta ko chakang lel gabul kida. Ko ko wi mi dan chin bol mel bi sherga de chol ARC. Ba boy na to rasmi da. Achana nan ka ben tuwer sherga de. Kana to rasmi wala spokesperson kay ber. La nan ko ko bol ko lakin maktab bol wala yan shirka da yan bol before ke kwa cina ci kwa ke na fakar su shirka biya jama bi have the company na ka allegation cika bai ka ko ka yika deny that's why kri bane kun bol ko bas for example ci share bar gazal bane one of the main topic ko jamten bol shi fashion bol shi biya ban ko share bar gazal ce go lakin o wace ban duk cin ta buktin share bar gazal ga ko yege hali bol ko yi share bar gazal kuna share zaman take ga share no shi bol ko kin guir e share bol shi guir ke guir na ko ya surtu tem ko kay nyal tin de ci da yen share bar ga ban yebol nen e bar ga hay we gel ban yebol nen e bay ma ci shendong hay pit ke chinese company ci na ware wen pel gin kule war shar ga den kula ko tin ko pe ray ma ci ray no ko puk no ko tin yon ci zalan kulu de ben kule ki kam ga do ke zalan de ga lok aw lo bu jal fi jin bu suna ko ka za ci ka pon la mala ko ka malaika ko bolen e do wo ci wo kida imagine hypocrisy that label but hypocrisy kai kwa yani kichol defaq label that defaq kai kwa rana kala la zala tay dum dal tay dum zala kuluk deg lok ku jël bol jël ban yek sharka contract jël ban yegen ku go wo go ko tem la na petrol ci ko to ko to ci tamala sana kida kam and tell me inu bol sharka barada char barada ko woy ka ci raj benen da brise mu ci bol woy isa pando benang siyasin won ke jana barada biga ben ke yani hajat sah ka won bidan criticize constructive criticism based on policies both and his post can she again can never is in service colors la kachi wood fatara chi kwanje e ke ba ngal yuka table and then we can debate on them lakini sa wusul tamarala der kam ka ko man ko tokina la ka wa yeah, there is difference between corruption kujala thief or a thievery. If you go and find the dictionary well in Google but definition then are two different things. Achar baban yule ran ba chola ke chuer ta to gikuen aran the chibet blue break into your house kayin din bako kina dayen kwal ka kuje ke kuna lor kaman baka ba pa kutin ka chuer kujel ka jai dayen ko kibana chuer ka churi tawol ka jarum. These are two different things. Ato mo nya gara lanu tabi yani ka ida ye kular ba ku nya real Bidara kene chol rum wala tup lakin tabi an inin kun ci da yen wala ni rani pin chok ba ben ka kwela chok ba jala ba ku nyaay en chol chwer kan lakin ka lawrut fi makatab kin nak masaf hukumi reyin tin ku da gala waikin ayen ya corruption ake chwer because these are two different things lakin ayeka mixment yani ba ben ko jamtin awu ko mix oh we are not o ga ci ko jël len ju do bi la du ko bol ki criticize bol siyasi acha public figure you criticize lakin criticism di chol choga constructive and this lakin iza itahawalta balla fi shakhsi da بالمعنى كده كل اللي بيجي انه بول انا تشوين كوزول مسؤول في ناس عندهم حق بيجي دافو لا تلاقي ان كشخصيه بول ليك يكريتيسايز واتش بوليسيز كا كريو كان وراي كاين كان لو بيدال بي ما راني ده يقدال على بيجي بيرتو كده جانب نمبر 2 دو بقى كوين في جنوب السودان يلا حكومه ده كوين اكيد كوميدي تي كوين كان لو تير لا باي اي ما بحزاب سياسيه كيف جنوب السودان اما حزاب سياسيه كجل حركه شعبيه حزب الحاكم صار عندنا بيج باي فلان بيج باي يعلان ما عندنا نظام كوميونتي اكيد تيجي بسيفتها ويك باي كرانو بين كوين رئيس عشان لما تجي كي وستة تسل مرحله بيا كوميونتي يكريتيسايز يس بولا ما اول لكن حزب كوين عشان الحركه الشعبيه كوتشين اول زول بيا كوين رئيس what is so different now كوين بولي ما نوجو شي جاجي كوين ba ma fi ko ci ko nok kullu ku duk ko ke do rais kwarar ba jala gafi muci bol wo ja to that level ci social media kana very hot nowadays jagar ko ci thousand fi bala ci kan ko ci thousand of sa sudi ci kan nok aja ko ina ko na do up that rais jamhuriya kwa lui ayo ko pam ajelara and busy ko pirde alu business ka yamda but because of no committed member of the party ko ran ba nak door fi the reason na nang role yung bal play kalam yegi why is so different now and why is so tough til kay ko big daddy wala nang hak bu kwany anang rag biya re se jemori anang rag biya ira why ira fi le biya he's a dude she can trust kala big ba what is so wrong about that fayan kay ko wi ku bu kan atek to yan to ban advice ko to ko badi ga wuli ko jam tru there yan cha kan duel gam fatra lo tini yanda tene aslan tene right here ko gwa bit bas ku deko lanu level ma diga wul te judo bit de ka tatan ko balakas mo nyen kwa balakas tandit mo nyen kwa level ke ma diga wul ke ka tatan achu gal de fatra tiok ci bol kwan lanu wa churu ke jasla o gasla ko yogino o ko bir wajido bi na cina de ko man jema o gasla ran bi na cina de ko man acina de ko terkayen lakin fatra tiok ka cho yug ke gi jato ita lamu da mundu hajat katirin nu bol ko bol achu ka juja pe achu ka nyuwa the real characters can إذا كان يكون كيا خاص ولا communities هذا كده منو سوتني يا رسول الله كديالو ولا رانا كشي لديه كشي توي بران شير بران لك كلا جنوب كلا communities كشوا كله كلا جنوبين كونغ كشوا كله كومينكو ما هو عبرني لأنه بدكنا ديمقراطية أو بنت no matter what ديمقراطية بدي أقبل نحن ديمقراطية اللي بنت Don't claim one majority. That this is the time now. Those communities. Cho yo ka sa wo ko watching minded ba sa wala masa. Kamu ka tin. Abu ka ta ba dogi. Adu sa dug de ko chete ba ko ta ba. Che ka ben jam ka tin. So ya tin ya na chawi. Bidang ra let that de. Kai ko pel ka pin. Lanu bol. Ten average sa Jamhuriya. Kundo ko chairman it's about criticism diga ya fikir bayar kujala hizb al-hakam cholar ga sabiya kujala hukumu ta Junub Sudan kika na ala community lakin te ni no ga dai ku yi ne do do loy chuma yar ba tede a chaw ba loy publicly lakin I begin to mark ko nyake and I begin to mark communities nyake Because now you know tell me we are going to be politician in that country. Ko obrungi, and therefore be a sale to them, but I'm getting no quite you can think long no. Nandu oh and I'm talking all this time. Yana no quite okay can be. Madiga will upon na chem quite. Kalwel kai ka bab dokten o ga chem hoten ku logo bab tito. Na chu kai kwat wala chu kai tor dum dum. Kalau madiga ul bak kan graw ba dum bar lo ka duanga. Any mentality talk ko yiri ene so cho ta then ben ko sen. Ene cho ta. Lakin kan dat o ga judu bin chu ko wa judu bin chu ba judu bin ni dina hak beta tamsil ni dina hak buge side kan jara bug dom to ya to ko de ando ko makat ma fay min. Ko ne cha ka highlight yo bata. Indu ton wun bol mel ne mel ba ko nyol ku jala takrib bol ba che kwa ba pande anak siyasin si jam tin kwa ka ga che mung ni ku ken ay nyuwa bindu siyasa ta yemen ke de mat che kulwel pa kan ga yoro exactly kulwel and I will repeat it here achan buka bi ga cha ko ga yoro chan ba cha ni chogo pa pan bol ton ba kwa nyol there is a jumhuriya for youth kalasta ta chen jam da chak ti kulwel akila mol kile ta zen le loy kule jam ke boli criticize gila wi criticize wi buka expose ko atok bye ban ma shi bol kwa ida bra ise jumuria ko ji jala kwen ko yogo du ba ko jaban do atafal ay kal ban jam biya lwel yin bol jel telefona diar jam tiyo ko telefona se ke jot dal ka wed bol ku jal ku mo jangay ito na yimandi ne wed lor tin ti mandu ti ne wed lor jang dum tin ito no ka no ya ko nyuwa du yi rasul ran cho rel ki na ando ikide fa yana wi ba jaman ci ñay la du yag ne ka di ci la fa o ko be diga wul ke de pel ko bi ku day ko bas ye no du ye loy ko ran jam e mug na mug lwel bu ko tarika ay sa jël na baden ko tarika yo ri du yi nga ka pabru ngi and this is where majority ta ko lwel ka majority kana ta ci ko ben use wisely ka ko wara lwel ko puli bi ko jala ka da ci ko ben akor bar da la ben ka o be ñaay bu ko majority ko le wa 2 million plus ka lo rubuti ni ci ko mug nim kuna la du ko tele ben ya ga ta ba ku ci use wisely in that way then ko felen ko majority wala ko ka ka da ka ka tay ben kaya ayo kan ci zaman ka bu joga pay we wet ka ga chale in fursa ce gar yak lakin o pel ko pe ci nan let because bolu ko de brais we da balat ka ci bilar we kursi bal ko loy bar dog ba ko loy ba bi gal chaglat ma ba yiri haja so yin lo pul bas ku lo ko ke normal business pir ran ko loy ga chale shukran
yen ka ba martin taban in yai kelma da cha ka dia loel queen panan bol and watching 2 hours and 43 minutes and we showed it over ban weekends I can like plan like ba jamtin men ma kwen bol from the beginning lano yen zara wi bungi jan jol bol kana yen ngadia in term of being ben ke ne brais yen taban ko wone ye loel ele between chair ko jala gadanga pan mon jang taban de yugini woni jike ka we da ko lai nok la baden gana ka yin jol diaw ko jele fo ke tin jol fo to ko jale mana gwe ngade ben gana kuin no kon zairin diaw kita yuk tin den kan ko jam they know what they're doing pa ci war gal le tamon der nan kan ko riya anang story tin der balo yan target mosam ko ke ra ton ke da ko mon jang chik loy yan de ka jin tol num tol mai di to kana ya mu tol le nyin kwa chai piu ina diaw because the little bit nyin la to la ke lakin warok dak anang din dan le ka gumur kana achi ringai gup alu bi chop kula kunat kuna ba ku jai la gumur chi chwet ku tagin yi tamu ina pet mun je yin de lebu ma gubul bita mai kule ka kai tol no lo kuna chanyin piu ina pet. Why you know already tolo ka chola chanyin piu. Tolo kini jagu mut ke tol ma jipat kulo rinyin kini chanyin piu. Ka ko ira ten ka they already know anangi ke Bol Mel yugo force kwanangi madinga wuli yugo force ngiku. Lano yen ater kilemalu ke use madinga wuli ke use yani gweje ko labo ko la jeji ken ko thor ku ga cheti wana ga dang dako e yo gonna use no yo use madinga wuli yo use taka ye ke loel ko je ga wuji madinga wuli bra po le na chi akaya la ko cho bo na yo use wa be na tong wala na jo wa yo use ko abrun ma dang tu gana age ang jen what they expect from that ka lo return be opposition taban agan wade linin when you don't have anything to say kina la personality I think ko bo jum bala loy yes Bol Mel jing di gwa loy lakin ko jayi nok ka kay gwa loy because anang dung jin yum tin dung len tin tan cham kana en ken ko ke kaya ni ayu war ka akia 924 tan and then ko ani ba ko ben loy about thing within the weekends show I will conduct a couple of shows and I know quite when we ben ka ay ka dang ka galway lakin that's how I do it because if I have to do it my personal page sometime yes I can do that or on this Team Chok page I can do that but they can tajil ba koy bay masih nang limit lakin kana nang dan won magulo bay tenen ko access to that kwanang we bien we control fa apanan bol ina ba pol ko ba masih kadang dun akira baloy ku bugloy bu tem din kamit and then we'll continue to talk about this we need to know it will be at within community will community or in other community yes we have to know what is the plan of Bol Mel by the way Bol Mel is not elected kujala ye neb ya serving interest of banyuni neb chok it's not serving community interest so naning policy le Bol Mel ka wo aka policy den ke ga ke wonti ke salva ke mayadi kana ga benga lu campaign ne aga ka bi Allah ke ga policy kun weka agara it will not be Bol Mel alone without Kirmayadi so then ko ya pretending in they opposing Bol Mel but not Kirmayadi lu gana so if you opposing Bol Mel then you opposing Kirmayadi because Bol Mel a policy Kirmayadi aga buga implement aki aga bulo kaka so he will not have his own way au bula ben gegeda until bien ben nyaga kulu yana wi baya ben ga jati ngu ben loy so I even ko jam kulu le Bol Mel ga ben bu plan ben loy Bol Mel ki bela lu opposite of Kirmayadi actually ben his own plan ka che plan Kirmayadi then gini che nap I think that question also should go back to the Kojen Thigi. Did you really study that question? In bad Lego Gadangdu, our bay plan do. You are serving interests of president. You are serving interests of your party. The policy of the SPLM as a party, I can become implement. Okay, policy, I can the same policy of Kirmayadi. Bol Mel does not have his own policy. Yen Podol, Bolmar, been a conclusion to below, and then I would have to close the show. And I will get to the initial clubhouse again. By the way, it will sometime. I yok na laka cha barin ka yok ya taban the word club na de muito Arab. Yani na de. Kana taban ay ko lengtu na ay ko lukam kalam farik so then sometimes the land ba pungpin kana yok in pala de clubhouse di la jam ka. There's no really concrete thing level within that. Akan clubhouse la ni in ke kalo within that. Dani da irani ati ku la ti baden kriya ko ku ladin zat. Ku le yin nga ku na wuja sa wala ga dia batingin. While you not even close. Nan tay jang ni telpon to kan ninga. Lana le bang bai bai ten mun tin na ulo dia tak ngapa ben mak ngapa gudi tan ya. So lu dun akira ko bukyo.
Yes, Team Chuk, Marathon Ukran, in Chile, Japan. Oh, Korean Kaditio, Kenny Taban. The majority of us, especially Koi Winchira and Kala, who actually like Ben Midian. The reason and being, Obama Ding, Madinga Will, Madianga, mading nyar ko pe mading nyamok e ko ban dok bale we you know alanga das katir chiro loy ku ke kan alanga chi ran to tu pa alanga chi gor wa la all eye on me you know all I was mading awul ko ya dai munin bi mading wona bu loy kan ga chiro loy ta barangi ko min mading kan na e panda won wa chiro jot ku yu ko to ku lo ku ma chagil ditet da chiro loy ka ke ta bana chu ko gum sin man mading mun ci ben be lang woy loy lang kan de jog loy so this time taban ku choran which bi merit de to ma ja lo la nga wi ba merit ay to mu tin nyore chan bitin what kind of reaction and in baloy am nyar ro ma ding ben this time ma che time bi o met ko we ma ding chu wi chan bo me ri ka tin nyot ran chol bol me la chi o bien aku ma junu ben bien kwa ku ma junu ina lui che ma ding awul ran li bi o got ki da pe chi bi un ter ke ban ber nin ban ber ina kam da ka ene am nyar chan burut palpin alang wagwar chu ko ke ko we banana cho nga ko ya be ke aka ayu chan ma ka ya ping e lo na cho nga jol ku chang biet ke che aryo ke le ke mana wule ne ya man ka ke ta go nim da la ku chu ping ku chong ku biet ke je ke dang in chu ryo na chong ku biet ke je ke dang in ku jok jam na chong ku biet ke che ke dang in ku jok let chan bura lat lakini wo ko mi la wul chan bi wo la bai bai kula wo bai bai ko win chin ke bi wo gu en ya ni ara pai tele ko ora pot ko mi la wul akal do ben la ko jam wala ko yin ke dang bor loy ala ngi ci brother lel mo tayla la ko li kweta ko la dugle ga bay dugle ga bay ke ga ko ni ba du ko ran bay bay mading ran ga bu wa cha da dum de ngi chup ye ni randa wala ye ran che ran mading ye te ngi na bu ber gide na ye let ke na ko bi ko ber kan na ye jam ke ro ko jam ke na ko bi ko ye ber mading chulu achan burut ton ko we kai ko ran let chal ga let ran bui mading chal ga bui lakin wo kene wi ba duok tan we ga pe ka we mading rel kwata re we tin e ku bo mading be ma man ka we ku pal ka jam na la let ka chal ga let ku chal ga mading adong chen den tuk chen mading chen unity achan bu ke kana na bi ka cho ta ki ko yu ka yo ben ko min mading ku logo ko won logo bu loy kene time loy che time lu bi ogrot ben ta social media nyin achan bu lot ko koy mun len mading o wa chi nyali to yiran chol bol mel bu kwan ke man mading kuna chi ben ke man mading ka kwara lan ke den men kwara lan kir ke chir ko chi ay lo la ala kwara koy ke lan kit ken ke ki ku tinga chu ka ting o ga dai ke chala kit ken ga chala ke ga nyu to ku chilon bi a kolden a kol bi o ka nyu ke kenda o madinga kininda abun nyol ke lakin kena e time da achan bu rotu ton ko kudu ko ya yer bu de ju bu rangom karan la do kana en ku bi an kan gina ko ya nyar achan ba ko eten ya ma ko chele ku jala tim ko chele pur sen chi yegen madinga rotor madinga nyarot madinga wi achan bi unity da bu pil ya pe te wi te ra la ko ibulen mi na mading ko wa bu du ku panda wa bu du madinga wul na la kwa lwer ku wa bla nyu ku le kwa we min madi kinen da we ga pa ya du ku la se chol media ni chan bo wa bro kinen ko le ga pa ka ke na shi ga ba bi ka lwer ko ni bu ku dun chi ra fo go ra na gwa pin iran inda ran ke na la ga jo ra fo we min madi ki duku platform da duku media kwa ta da ro kwa lwer tin chan bu ka lwer tin lakin du ku ba tan mu ban ka tan ku bu ban la tan rana dunda abu walwel ke na dunda tin kuran nyaro iran nyaro we kai ko bin we junubin ayo kulong bu ko kiran jol bulmel kai ku kiran jol kir ma yadit ake ga kuma mai bai kaka wo kicin ku wo min madin bin yali bo bar yi fursa bu ban mai kene fursa da kudugu chol ake fursa chin yali chin madin o wala twen ko wo nyar ku wala twen ko lu ko we wala ran ci kwan ke rana kuma shi ma ding che nyin kon wa ko ke na ter ku ka kiran chol Bol Mel ku ga che le ja pe tim chok shukran pursa che yiga
Apa chukran in bajal bay pin so tan week by ko kiga dai followers of Tim Chok. Yes, kedeng di wana chatem to koi kok tong kawaja ku bajam because ng members of South Sudanese community che pung tong jeng. Even though sometimes I yok to jam gatin I yok karat ichina che ben jam tong monjang anyway by the way. Yen kibiyan ten one there chalwela I'm not coming here but ben bakiraran ma ben dugma because an che spokesperson kan vice president Bol Mel an che spokesperson kan government of SPLM in my Sudan right now, led by President Kir Mayadit. And a member of South Sudanese community. Kwale bale na mading awul. Kunengi chilwele ya ke galata mading. Kun chiwar kalwele den. Kunengi I think wrong kala ba correct. But I'm not fighting back or to challenge somebody. Lano well I ga chat. Videos ko jam kujala clubhouse a year. Kwa chicken mading awul including kichol monjang. Bamarare bele monjang. Monjang zato a chinger ba kirchok. Kwa ki achol kirel banyit. By the same time aban tek ten kulele yaka monjang kana kile bugdial chobo kumai so de yine lele monjang ken chama kuma monjang en akuma kwa kuma wi ba chop so de chobi na kuma yin chop monjang because kile already akuma kana akuma monjang eyo kada ten monjang jal bi yit support kwen monjang in wi ba chop kwen monjang wi jotong wi ba no kene a mistake ko ya position ko loy kwa ki ga chol kir ma yara real banye in Canada, look at support of Kirmayar, they are not opposition. They're supporting Kirmayar indirectly. They're supporting SPLM indirectly. Because South Sudanese are wise enough to know couldn't go a personal or a public interest. Because if you're talking about position, then that is a personal interest, it's not public interest. And you cannot call public to come and fight for you to get a position in the government. Because the Lena government in Niaga, it will be you and your own family. Ala sabil masal, accepting tana IO. There was mostly Junubin joined the IO. But when it comes to the position, Chakyar muchi riang machar kilo. I la butaw akachi bay. I la butaw akachi bay bay. So kena a hilo kubaluela intaro for your own interest, and you want everybody to fight for you. And then when it comes to miet, kayokala jaga jatra do ko aji chul mong lele chin bit kapado loy wai pada dogi. Kawe mi madinga wul ko ki podi ya wel chika loyel. Ukaza tana nangin din chol Linda break a chi ko jam helka. Yen anang right ku bijam. Ko bol mel criticize. What you need to do e ko bopung wel kene ka loyel ka yina ngukani tin. Baka pinga pat ku tirke ngukani tin. Anang wi ber ba dum ne. Yes, it's okay to debate in politics. Kunaye la war ku bu community du lat ki du community du lat du kit because the ngin ne galat ka galat hila ba yegru du be galat. Awoj a hilo ba gwar be awoj ka we ga ten ga cha ko ari wodi. To make that person ke ranaj nyodi en ke re chi loy ku du kre chi loy du loy. So ko yo den social media would be alwe la ka tweet me adi ngadi no. Brana ben be ke man tweet me hadis. The politics mostly a personal interest. That's why in party do ne yo ke serving your interest in latin. Ki yakan kwat ye the bando you know Sudan den ente lo ye. A wit na ne ke wo ka wi ka che bele ba. Ku jara siya ke tor kwat. Ki ya ka tor kwat e panuni ya gel kwat. Teningi ben air ku ka madut ko e bai. Bak tor. Le na le ben se siya won mit ka yeah based on your own interest. ko we muding awul jogol ja chak pin no ko tan nyera kwa pamelo ko ko gunathin bi jam. Sometimes the best weapon is to just ignore that individual. You just ignore. By the way, waro mit ku choy in chat bala pantiok ku bio jongelatin chat pat pala gupin ga chi jam, because when you check around and seem to bakar ka jong jel beni go lakin apala gupin ka you a friendly person ku chi ben bio. So du kula tinan ngi tin ki ben hir ken hiran ken ko jam then ka gam gutok bulelo ga then bul. Yes, it's okay to respond in a respectful way. Inu yen ke chalu el ken chere de ku jala sababi ke chene de kin kala lana opposition geraltan opposition in general lana ko ya luel ko ay won ki opposing au ko ay marad in general ben achinan nang ki ye bay ko luy tok tan ken SPLM. In fact ko ben party ka ben e manifesto ken SPLM ene ye copy ku jala ke ngon ki dictor deng ni luel chen ti la you are in a government mu chaman go le government tu janya go le bayran ga bilde. That mean ki SPLM nang ki jaman ko che police jaman e position ni nya tin ki right for ken ene ki legitimate opposition no matter what. They can ali bi jambe sabzat welga bil arabi ke ga pyo ju krijin jama kada windu pe diwan. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't impress anybody because your degree is your own degree. Degree dunjalo could do. Whether it give you a good job, they could do. The only thing you can convince people is to come with ideas. But ben ki ideas kula jamaen to lo chet bai tin kana chede. So you be bai ben pet na kip to lo ken kala 1 2 3 4 ken ke pet bai. Nanin ko la gam ka bi follow. Tanin ko la ka pin ke ka bi bod chok. And then don't limit yourself into a tribal section. And this is what the opposition are doing. Ngaga yu kila wonu lani chok. Ngaga kila wonu wei chok. Ngaga kila munyanga ni chok. You deny yourself allies. Now you're shrinking your own party. You're shrinking your own movement if you are against government being armed, which is into the gun. The irony is even quite of the opposition right now, they are even complaining the Inuyen imhur bijay karo bi refit bijay kadiak taiba commander chief when Dr. Deng Ning everybody is a commander chief. Anang ki Bible chaping ki won lel la let the yin ko nok save ko yin to save. So when you kill with save, you will be killed by save. So the yin gun jot bowel though. Then the other person will find the gun too. Kuna laktor ki dug lo ko wa piang ko ka far. Guran to kin dul ku ran gurbunia kuran ga do guran yo galam ngina gurbunia. No ka ka far. Ma we got far. Kunang far you could use anything to defend yourself. So ran gurbunia kuran gur do ngudya. You are fighting. You are fighting. Lana kin excuse ben lo ten kala wo ga ya guda ma do ka no. Na guda na kina guda pay bangi because that's how I'm going to win the war. Independent you win gan independent nothing. So I think a lot of people talk about that. And in fact, their own personal page. Many people conduct the show last time. I think, mostly I'm not coming here to respond on a particular individual. Certainly not for Lina Prek. Yes, and I know sometimes yes we ignore, but achulu bulel masan Lina Prek in etik ko ken wel ke na. Nanenga won bikan wel kan gadung namen ko no. Then sometimes this is the way to learn. Nanenga jo ke check correct that kale ken no ko dun kan ke na iran won smart enough ko bela dukulel ku chedi ke doka kayin. And then they can better themselves. Renai man be he doc. You think you know it all? Well and good. Ka kayin ke ben well you kai kwa. and I will continue to do some shows here, I have to ask a legitimate question. You could come in with legitimate criticism. And by the way, whatever Iran jamben, Iran given big opinion de yai. Achi nanti kang ben gulu kan windien luel. En ori yog inu kuchi luel en ken correct kwen mu put bian ke bot ka kan ker. Until bu ko ki ping. Ku jala ma dai ki dai. Aki abu wel ku jalo mu ka shadi. And then wel ku abu jali baptized in the name of being true or false. But when they come out of your mouth, they are always truth according to you. You're saying truthful. You know it all. You know the best. But the listener will analyze your words and they will baptize them in the name being true or false. That's why they say you are entitled to your right or you are entitled to your words. But doesn't mean that whatever you're saying is right. They're right according to you, but to the listeners can interpret them and explain them in a different scenario. And then don't get offended if that happens. Also, don't underestimate South Sudanese. If you think you can speak eloquently in Arabic or in English, therefore you could plainly lie and hope people will follow you and hope people will believe that. You know, we're not smart enough. Even if they don't know ABC, they are most intelligent community without even going to school. You cannot deceive them like that. You cannot deceive them like that. Even trying to insult indirectly, people know exactly what you're talking about. The word in you use, because something you use is something inability to say no. It's something that doesn't have a response. A human being that doesn't have any cognitive process of analyzing stuff. You are challenging cognitive ability of those human being. When you say you are being used, you are just followers. That is an insult itself. I cannot generalize the entire community and say that they are just being used. Meaning those people cannot think for themselves. They are just being directed. 10 right, 10 left, go forward. And what are you doing? You are chasing away people. You are chasing away allies. Even if they don't respond to you, like many people, your speaker here said, that just ignore it, just observe them and know who they are. So now people are inviting even those communities, let's say from a wool community where Bol Mel come from. They were not even interested in what, who is Bol Mel. They're not even interested in supporting Bol Mel. But now you're inviting them, you're waking them up. You're telling them, hey, wool community, this is your son. He's a vice president, this is your son. You're just calling them by provoking them in their own community. Even those now who are not interested in supporting Bol Mel will support Bol Mel because they will see that they are being attacked because of their son, and therefore now they need to fight back. You see how you help Bol Mel indirectly? You think that you're bringing Bol Mel down, but you helping Bol Mel indirectly. You mobilizing people that are not even interested in politics, and you want to touch them. You wake them up. You wake them up from doing their own business. People are cultivating right now. Who really care whether Bol Mel is the vice president or not? They're just looking around and see that there's a rain today, so they can go to the farm and cultivate. But you're calling them. You're waking them up. You're waking them up. So I will stop here. Again, It's okay to oppose, but if you decide also to want to involve the community, that's your choice. They will respond to you accordingly. If that allow you to gain more into your party or your movement, go for it. But I always seeing opposition asking question, why these people are not joining us? Why they still supporting Kir government? Think Kir government is bad. Kir government is this and that and that. And why people are still in there? Because there is no alternative. You're not providing anything for them to join you. You're not coming up with any better idea than the current government. Not everybody follow the personality. People cannot follow you because of your personality. No. You have nothing to provide. You have no alternative policy. And that's why nobody really challenging SPLM policy, because you don't have any alternative policy to challenge the SPLM policy. And that's why nobody really criticizing the government based on policy, because the opposition is merely based on position. I want to get into that. I want to be sitting next to that. I want to eat that cake too. That's all. That's all. You can oppose. That is why you call opposition. So with that, I will stop from here. Thank you for those who came in, and I apologize to those who could not come in. Try to use that system, which is called StreamYard. That the system that I'm using is not like a Facebook page, and I'm not in Clubhouse yet, but I will also get into Clubhouse so that people can come also and and put your opinion into that, because nothing, like I said, everybody have their own opinion or their own word as the rightful as it come from their mouths. It will be up to listener to interpret your or analyze your word and baptize them and say this is wrong or this is correct. Okay. With that, I will close the show. This is Tim Shok. Kuyan Wamudun Yang Makwet. Kia we got a tongue. Keep watch, follow the page, and I will pause some. I know sometimes I don't pause ahead of time because I don't want to pause and let people kind of like watching, hoping that I will do the show and then end up not do the show at the same time. I think that also make people kind of hoping for something that they will not get. But hopefully, I will try to conduct the show on the weekends, and it will be open to everybody. Please try to practice how to get into StreamYard through YouTube or through Facebook page, because that's how Team Shook operate. It's not through a personal page. It's not through Facebook directly. So with that, good night. Thank you for watching, and please share the video to reach more people.
Abu Kwaro, Panchal Macha. Be Kwara, did Chirka, no Macon. Kunabung Pularia Makwe. I took go the Quer by. Ben Gona when you did power. Ben God go the Quer by. Ben Gona Chong them good and Fat will call Yam. I took go the Quer by. Ben Gona Bang Shore Mangan and by Sherry. You'll go the Quer by. You'll come out the word. Tinkuniwa, Tindem Maja, you'll go the Quer by. You'll short a band long by my two Kajiman and talk just. So long, Kajiman and talk just. I could have called you, I couldn't want it. I couldn't mind it. A band deal about to be our work. I better have to put the bang a champ. And you'll be a man, your chair. Other man jumped in one tail. Hello, Kulwa. Here I am, one year. She bandu. A man can have a coke, dear a coke. Koga, a man. Kalmari, word one about that. Would longer do the band to do the madingi. I'm do Magan, I could. Then he wouldn't my tongue. Real yard, be woman, I tell me, I shot a wallet. 1 year Maria Bioga, Kola, Shori, I talk to you. Sandian Maria, that toy Biliap Kawe. Ala chala kagara bang da kadong awen ka tok. Sandian Maria kan man tunya na lan. Wor nya na lan ko go te kim na tin lol ban chol pa ma. Ke ban tunya di dio mi da kwidi. Wol gang lol wol jog ya. Ke ban tunya di dio mi da kwidi. Garang ma tur garang du jog twang. Ke ban tunya di dio mi da kwidi. Kon ma jog tiar kona kon ma du. Ke ban tunya di dio mi da kwidi. Wol ma kirnyang wol dal mele. Kuban tunyan di jami da da kudi. Saban tunyan di na shadot. Ke shinta. Kulen yalik. Le cholan yuk pandi ruh. Le jal ku jam barial jilyam nok. Ke shinta. Kule ken yalik. Na ku jam kin yali wara batar nyunen. Ku jam kin yali wara batar nyunen. Ku jam duna tudan gayi. Kula abu anin mit. Wanan ga chandir marial chibiyo ke bir chwa nyalik. Sandian Maria Nyai Peru, the gold to Naja, Kutonya one. I try to get them. Come out a little while, watch your toy. I try to get a pure body up. Come out a little while, watch your toy. I share toy. Watch your poor to while well got. They are you born when we've been a ring and good.